Hello and welcome to the Seedstars World Competition 2020 for Papua New Guinea in the Pacific Islands. This year, our event is fully online, and we thank you all for joining us remotely and supporting the startups in what should be a great event. We will now hand over to Max Cuvelier, Head of Mobile for Development from GSMA, for his opening remarks.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pacific leg of the Seedstars World Competition 2020, more specifically the PNG edition. My name is Max Cuvelier, I'm the Head of Mobile for Development at the GSMA, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this online event. Our objective today is not only to support local startups, but also to help put them on the national, regional and global map. The GSMA, in partnership with the Australian government, is committed more than ever to supporting entrepreneurs in the region. We're repeating, as we're currently doing today, the Seedstars World Competition in PNG, but also in Fiji and Samoa. But we're also doing more to train up entrepreneurs. We have partnered with Fundia to run entrepreneurship training courses in PNG, in Fiji and Samoa. We're also acknowledging that not all startups are at the same stage, with two different types of support. A startup challenge for those who want to start from an idea or from a concept, and a launchpad for the more established company. And we're really impressed by the number and the quality of the applicants. We've received close to 500 applications from the three countries, with a great representation of female talent. 58% of the applicants are women. And we're now providing support and filtering. We had 142 accepted to the Startup Challenge, and we're now progressing through the program. We're with already 80 hours of coaching sessions that's happened as part of the Startup Challenge. And we're retaining great female participation throughout. Actually, the proportion of female founders grows as we progress through the program. And if we're looking at the Launchpad front, 54 teams are accepted to the next stage of training at the moment. In PNG, we've seen the largest number of applicants for the Startup Challenge and the Launchpad. And again, with a very strong representation from female entrepreneurs at more than 40%. We've seen very resilient entrepreneurs so committed to the training, especially in the current COVID-19 emergency status. I hear in particular of one individual who made a trip at a very early time of the day to be able to submit their application. And we want to thank everyone who's supporting you and supporting us through this process. The eSpace team in particular, who acted as a local champion during the training, and also Nunet PNG, the Seedstars 2019 winners in PNG, who have provided mentorship. We're really excited to bring you this online virtual event where you'll be able to see some great startup pitches. You'll be also able to see Q&A with professionals who are providing feedback, great way to see how they would test your own business, and also a speaker panel on the entrepreneurship landscape in PNG, as well as obviously the impact of the current situation. And of course, the judges' deliberation and the announcement of the winners for the local country competition. But remember, as Pierre de Coubertin said, he's the father of the modern Olympic Games, the important thing in life is not the triumph, but the struggle. So again, a big thank you to the Australian government for making this event possible, and of course to all of you, attendees from PNG, from the Pacific region and around the world, for tuning in today at what should be a great virtual event. Enjoy and make the most of it.
We will now hear from Joshua Kaile, Program Manager Economics at the Australian High Commission Papua New Guinea, who helped make this event possible.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this live broadcast of Seedstars Pitching Competition 2020. My name is Joshua Kaile, and I am Program Manager Economics at the Australian High Commission Port Moresby. In 2019, Seedstars brought their emerging market pitching competition to the Pacific for the first time through partnership between Australian government and the GSMA, a peak body of global mobile industry. These events were an opportunity for local startups to pitch their ideas and leverage the Seedstars community of business experts and investors to take their businesses to the next level. Nunet was selected as the winner of the PNG event, and as part of the winner's prize, attended the Seedstars regional event in Cambodia. Proving the competitiveness of the Pacific startups, NewNet was recognized as one of the most promising startups in the Asia Pacific invited to the Global Summit in Switzerland. COVID-19 impacted the 2020 summit and continues to impact the region. Economic recovery is the central focus of Australia's new development strategy, Partnership for Recovery. So far, DFED's economic recovery support is being driven through various programs under the PNG Australia Partnership, which continue to support PNG towards achieving its development outcomes. The support through ADB Private Sector Development Initiative is continuing to work with relevant government of PNG counterparts to improve business enabling conditions for doing business in PNG. One of the key elements of this program is the technical assistance to IPA, which is Investment Promotion Authority of Papua New Guinea, in the development of the cloud-based online business registry system, making it easier for businesses in PNG to register through online platform. Other areas look at strengthening consumer protection, tax compliance, addressing barriers to doing business. The support through IFC partnership is driving a number of technical assistance programs across key private sector elements of the economy, ranging from energy, agriculture, infrastructure, affordable housing, financial service sector, just to name a few. The work under Economic Governance and Inclusive Growth Partnership looks at the development of entrepreneurial and growth of SME sector. COVID-19 has presented a lot of challenges for SME sector, and part of our support has been looking at how existing programs can pivot to assist SMEs to be resilient and to continue to grow through COVID environment and beyond. An immediate part of our support for startups and SMEs has focused on creating alternative ways of generating income for creative and cultural industry, increasing access for business advisory services delivered through Business Link Pacific network of quality approved business advisors. This includes advisory services on finance, accounting, HR, marketing, IT, export and marketing linkages, business continuity and planning, and legal advices. Overall, our support continues to work with PNG government through private sector to support the country's recovery from the impacts of global COVID-19 pandemic. Regulatory reforms and technical assistance provided through our implementing partners and improving conditions for doing business in PNG. The private sector is an essential partner in this recovery process, and we are committed to increasing access for Pacific businesses to capital through investment, re-establishment of markets, and global value chains. I'd like to thank those from the local ecosystem, business leaders, investors, mentors who make events like this one possible. We are committed to supporting the change makers in the local ecosystem, like local entrepreneur Vani Nades of his space, PNG, who has supported and mentored businesses through the entrepreneurship training programs, Startup Challenge, and Launchpad, also supported by the Australian government and GSMA. Events such as Seedstars are particularly encouraging and inspiring to see the growing investment opportunities for Pacific businesses that we know are regionally and globally competitive. I wish all founders the best of luck with the pitching today and encourage to make the most of the expertise and experience of Seedstars and GSMA in the Pacific. Thank you.
After months of scouting local startups, the Seedstars competition is finally back to Papua New Guinea. Out of dozens of applications received, 8 great entrepreneurs have been shortlisted to pitch their solutions in front of an international jury, with the chance to be crowned as the Port Moresby winner of the Seedstars World Competition 2020.
Hi, my name is Nancy Hohoa and I'm from Green Smart Contractors in PNG. Smart Contractors aims to create cleaner, more healthier Port Moresby. Our problem we're trying to solve is pollution through our general etiquette training, human development training, and also through garbage removal and recycling. We aim to employ and empower mothers and youth from our settlements in and around the city. The motivation behind being an entrepreneur is just the need to solve a problem and also financial security. The benefits of international programs like the Seedstars Summit are the networking opportunities and also the social aspect and the exposure for our local entrepreneurs.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Nancy Pahoa, and I'm the managing director of my startup company, Smart Contractors. Smart Contractors aims to create a cleaner, more healthier standard of living for Port Moresby. With a population of almost 400,000 people, 45% of the city's residents live in settlements. Of the settlements, 20 are planned and 79 are unplanned. These settlements lack even the basic amenities and infrastructure such as sanitation, water, and electricity. The government's response to these problems has been inadequate. The main problem faced in the city is pollution. Pollution in our homes, pollution in our streets, and pollution in our cities. So why do we pollute? Many things that are useful to our people produce pollution, like burning coal to produce electricity pollutes the air. Industries and homes generate garbage and sewage that pollutes land and water. So how can we best solve this problem? Education, developing the mindsets of the people is a major and powerful instrument. Smart Contractors aspire to provide general etiquette and human development training using online platform in the future. Smart Contractors also aims to provide professional garbage removal and recycling services in the city. We also aim to provide corporate and domestic cleaning for commercial houses, increasing workplace productivity. And we also aim to clean and maintain public amenities and facilities throughout the City Council. Opportunity. In recent years, Port Moresby has been economically booming. There has been substantial building of housing, office towers, shopping malls, schools, and commercial establishments over much of the city. The waterfront area has been completely redeveloped with apartments, restaurants, and shopping centers. Sporting facilities were upgraded significantly for the 2015 South Pacific Games, and further development took place in preparation for 2016 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Our revenue streams include commissions for the job to be done, on top of cost payments and in future one-off payments for training and human development we aspire to provide. Smart Contractors has a minimum success criteria of 1.2 million within the span of 3 years. Based on the annual customer value of $12,000, we would be looking at engaging 100 commercial clients by the end of 3 years. Currently, we're still in the problem solution fit area. With guarantee of successful investors and clients, we hope to kick off operations by next year. Our team is fairly small and consists of myself, my 4 loyal and dedicated employees, and from time to time, my partner helps me out with management. I am a former cabin crew in-flight trainer and supervisor with an immense passion for horticulture and for the growth of our people and our nation. My loyal employees have a decade's experience and knowledge in general landscaping, gardening, and cleaning. My partner is currently a senior airline captain with National Airline and is also the developer of the New Guinea electronic flight bag. His experience with management in the airline industry is an asset to helping my business become scalable. So in future ask, we ask to gain experience and knowledge to grow my business to become scalable, and also for operational equipment, startup capital, and for advertising. Our unfair advantage would be that we aim to employ and empower mothers from our youth, mothers and youth from our settlements, and we aim to provide them with general etiquette and human development training.
Thanks a lot, Nancy, for your presentation. So I just wanted to ask if Matt or Nozomi wanted to start with a question for Nancy.
Nancy, thank you so much for your presentation. It was really good to see, and I really liked the ideas of you employing mothers and youth for your business and giving them opportunity to grow in their careers. My question is, if I understood correctly, your business isn't yet operational, so you are still building the business. But have you done who your competitors might be in Port Moresby?
Oh, okay. There are a few other landscaping companies that gardening companies that provide the services I provide, upgrading of the freeway gardens, and cleaning and maintenance of the public facilities around the city as well. So there are a number of other competitors there. However, I do not actually know the exact number.
What would be your cutting edge then compared to other competitors? Have you thought about that?
Basically, the unfair advantage would be providing general etiquette training and human development, which I don't think other companies do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nancy, for that. Can I understand what activities have you already done in the marketplace? I understand this is a new business, but you show photos of people actually working. Can you describe to us a little bit of some of the early activities that you've done for the business?
Okay, so far we've only engaged in one contract, and that was with the City Council, the National Capital District Commission. We gained the contract to clean drains in the suburbs, in the suburban areas. So that was the only contract that we got for the business.
Okay, thank you. And can I just quickly ask another question, which was around what is the market size in Port Moresby?
We've got about 150 schools, because I aim to engage with schools and shopping malls, hotels, or clubs. There's around about more than 5,000 commercial houses.
Okay.
And that's apart from the public facilities, like the parks and the national stadiums. And
Yeah, okay, thank you, fantastic.
Thank you, Matt. So Nancy, thanks a lot again for the presentation. My question is, how much money actually are you looking to raise, and how would you be using this capital?
Okay, I haven't actually thought about, done enough research as to how much money I need, but I would need enough to, pay for marketing strategy, advertising, and also for operational equipment like a truck, a garbage truck, and a water cart, and also operation costs like startup costs.
Can I ask one more question, please?
For sure, please.
Nancy, so you are like a trainer, and how did you come up with this idea? Like, why are you trying to tackle these pollution issues while you are working in a sort of flight sector, more like tourism sector? Where is your passion coming from?
I've actually resigned from flying.
Yeah.
Our country is beautiful. We've got scenic beaches and beautiful beaches, scenic mountain ranges. But it's just the city that's mainly an eyesore.
Mm.
And with the drastic number of urban drifters coming to the city and creating settlements where settlements have been increasing like at a fast rate, I thought the only way to keep this place, tackle the issue of pollution, is to develop our mindsets of the people who, majority of them, live in settlements. In a way, it helps them get a job and also earn some income, provide employment for them as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Nancy. It was great having you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Nancy.
Yeah, my name is Kelly Opini. My company, my startup company is Bluestone Solutions. I'm from Papua New Guinea. I come from two mixed parentage of Milimbe and Central. So my mom's from Central, my father's from Milimbe. My startup right now, I'm trying to help reach out to all the farmers across the country, which most of them are very isolated, and they produce fresh goods. But the thing is that those fresh foods is the one that the factories or the consumer needs, but supplying it to them is very difficult at this moment. What motivates me is it's just feeling the pain of, like, if you go around all the local markets, you see some mothers will be there for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, you just go buy only certain food, but you see the seller will be sitting there for 2 weeks, so you like have a pity of it. So if you do something, like, I look at it, I'm looking for a solution. What's the best solution? So this is the solution that I'm trying to give to all the local mothers or the farmers. I'm trying to narrow down the process of people traveling during this pandemic, and then give them a solution. This is a pandemic, you cannot risk yourself come to the city to get COVID. So if you give them the solution, it's something that you're also helping the country and helping people.
My name is Kelly. I'm from Papua New Guinea, from a mixed parentage of Central and Milimbe. So my pitch for today is about, I'll be doing a portal presentation for farmers, designing a system for farmers to do how they trade, and using the cashless, when they trade using the cashless type, so you can trade cash crops, convert it into a cashless, and then into a farmer's account, and the process to the suppliers, and that's how the process. So it's just like doing away with physical handling of money and using the innovative technologies to do, cashless, and also do banking. So for my first slide, you can see my opinion, easy, fast, and secure way of converting agriculture products into e-cash. So you can see there's this card, there's a card in the mobile. So that's a type of technology or the platform moving forward. So that's my problems that I have identified. So it's logistics was a bit issues from the farmers and taking goods from the villages to the nearby urban areas. So it was very hard for farmers, and even most of the times when they arrive at the local markets, the food get rotten, and then there's no available of customers, and then there's lack of sales where the farmer gets from what he produces. So it's very difficult for farmers to when they produce. So it's just like when they try to go for selling their products, it's just like a suicide mission. So either they find customer or not. So it's just just something like that. So with the solution that I'm trying to bring on board is an online platform with easy, fast, convenient way of securing trading at your fingertips. So farmer can be at his home, right? Whatever he has, he can sell his product to the cooperative stores. So you can build cooperative stores, and then those cooperative stores, you can trade their goods to buy into cooperative stores they can exchange good into cash, which they can use the cash to buy store items or do online shoppings or pay for the medical bills and any other things that they would like to use. So it encouraged them to do more farming, to produce more, so they can gain more into their account. And also it attracts the consumer. It also attracts the consumers that they can identify farmers have this much of worth of goods or fresh goods at the garden. Next slide is the product. So this is the product that I have going to design, or what I'm trying to propose to design is a farmers portal, cooperative store portal, and a consumer portal. So consumer portal, I mean, for the farmers, it's just straightforward for farmers or the growers. So farmers can produce, can grow variety of cash crops that they can produce and sell. So it depends on the season. So if one of the, if they can sell sugarcane at March or May, they can switch to another cash crop. So every time when each of the cash crops, they have funds going into their account, and it's also helped them to have funds into the e-wallet account. So it's easy for them to manage. For cooperative stores, this will be the ones that are getting all the fresh produce from the farmers, and then helping the farmers to purchase food or garden essentials or any solar products or anything that the farmers need. So they are meeting the farmers' needs on the ground. And the consumer portal will be the suppliers. So if the restaurants will be needing the fresh vegetables, or the restaurants or the exporters or factories, even they're also interested. So they'll be contacting directly with the cooperative stores and then getting fresh produce from them. So that's how the channel of trading will be. Next, my unique value proposition is to fast and convenient way of trading fresh goods from farmers to cooperative store owners, and also through the mode of e-wallet payments. So, and then once you have the funds in your e-wallet, it's easy for you to do withdrawals, cash withdrawals, or pay for bills and any other things, or even do transfer to your family members who needs us financial assistance. So this is my value VAP. UVP.
Sorry, Kelly. I have to stop you here. The time is up. I will now open the floor to questions from the jury, so you might get to, of course, go through the rest of the slides. Actually, I want to start with one question directly. Is there any existing solution already in Papua New Guinea that is trying to solve the same issue?
Currently, Papua New Guinea, what the solution that the government is trying to advocate for SMEs is to start up a cooperative stores for like villages and the trade stores. But they're dealing with the cash handling of it. So that's what government is trying to. So they haven't came up with this idea of using cashless. So by next week, Tuesday, there will be a host of Yam Festival at Milne Bay that will be at my village. So I'm hoping that I will, if I get these things done, I can introduce this product this year, service to them.
Can you tell us a bit more? So who is very quickly? Who is on the team, and how much money are you looking for to raise?
Okay, currently it's me and my cousin. My cousin is a 5 years experience in accounting, and I'm co-founder on it. So I have a banking background and I was an IT auditor for Bank of South Pacific for 5 years. And we already have engaged into business, and we have a fair idea of how things work. So, and our fundraising, we'll be looking around 500,000 to start up our business. So 25% is for the admin and marketing, 50% for the operational cost. So that will include the number of terminals that we have to supply to all the cooperative stores, and the cards, the scheme cards, and other banking regulatory licensing and staff payment, payrolls, and so forth. And 10% is for introduction of new features that I might introduce. So I will be introducing. So it's not only farming based. I will be introducing paper to timber type of. So those are my goals that I'll be looking, and also recycling of can and empty bottles into cash. So those are the goals. So when I develop those new features or new products, that will help me boost up my business. So at this point of time, my starting point is just on the farming base. And when my business gets big, I'll be introducing new products and making available for every people to trade.
Thank you so much, Kelly. So Nozomi, Matt, any question? Feel free.
Thanks, Kelly, for that presentation. It's obviously a big problem, big challenge in PNG in terms of managing cash and so on. I'm interested to understand at the moment, it's clearly in idea stage. Who do you plan to partner with to make this solution, bring this solution to market?
At this moment, I'm planning with the church. That's a Seventh-day Adventist church. The church is already engaged with the people. The church has already have done something already. So I've been last year, 2018, in trying to bring in this solution to them to make it easy. So yeah, I'm partnering with the church at the moment.
Okay, thanks. And just one quick question on the platform. How are you planning to build the digital wallet?
Currently, I'm designing the website for it. I will try to design the website and also try to purchase a card printer and those ones to do design something so it can use the card and also an FPOS terminal. So it's just like tap and go. So that type of, but I have to be compliant to PCI DSS. That's a bank rules or standards that I have to follow. So those are the type of standards that it needs to be in place. So, but that's what I'm looking at it.
Hi, Kelly. I have a couple of questions. First one is who your customers are actually. Are you looking at selling these products to cooperative store? Is that your main customer you are looking at, or is that someone else?
My main customers will be the cooperative stores owner and the suppliers and the farmers. They all be using the technology that I'll be so when they do trading, when they do trading, the cooperative stores will be using the terminal. So farmers will bring their card. So they'll give them the yams or potatoes to them, and then we get the weight of it. It is cost how much that's the rate of it, and then they transfer the funds into the farmer's account. And then later, when the cooperative store get the bulk of it, they start to supply to the consumers, the factories and the restaurants, and then they sell those products, and that's the cycle they use. So they write checks or do payments into the cooperative stores, and then the cooperative stores get the funds while they give them the fresh produce. So it's just a supply chain.
Okay, so when the farmers indicate they have so much products available, are you giving them guarantee that those products are sold on the platform? What happens if they indicate they have certain amount available, but no cooperative or no supplier wants to buy? Who is losing that in that case?
It's the cooperative stores once they get its interest to get it from the farmers, not the farmers' interest. So farmers can produce what they, so it's once if the cooperative store identify the market, then that's what they get from the farmers. So the cooperative stores will be the one in the middle of looking at the production from the production and the market. So that's how it works.
So cooperative store will be indicating what they want, and then farmers are actually indicating they have the goods. Is that how it works?
Yes, that's how it works. So
okay.
So cooperative store has to identify the market first. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. And the second question was, so are you a farmer yourself? Like, where is this idea and motivation coming from?
Yes, I am currently doing a poultry farming at the moment at the village. So I do manage chickens. So that's what I came up with, this idea of trying to, instead of I'm right in the bush without knowing that how much the demand is outside, I have to export it using cooperative stores to expose those goods. So if I have 10,000 of chicken eggs, what will those eggs do? So it's just going to be wasted in the farm. So if the cooperative stores can help me expose those eggs, then I have potential suppliers. So I can be regularly supplying to the cooperative store, which is very easy for me to supply, and then cooperative store will be getting it and supplying out to the markets out there.
Okay, so you have a first-hand experience in the sector.
Yeah.
That's very good to hear. Thank you. That was all from me.
Thanks a lot for the presentation again. You'll be hearing from us very soon.
My name is Shalom Wari. I'm the founder for AID, which is the acronym for At Your Doorstep. I come from a small island nation in the Pacific Islands called Papua New Guinea. Basically what AID does, as the acronym says, At Your Doorstep, we provide fresh produce and fish directly to the doorstep of our customers. Our target market is the 9-to-5 employees who don't have the time to go to the marketplace. As a founder, I'm hoping to broaden my network and collaborate with other startups as well. The benefits that Seedstars will have for local competitors is it'll broaden our network, and it will also give us exposure to not only national companies or partnerships, but also internationally. And I'm excited for what the future has in store for me. And I'm thankful for where I am and how far I've come.
The name of my startup is AID, which is the acronym for At Your Doorstep. Our vision is a healthy and wealthy society founded upon nutritious meals that are purely organic. The problem we aim to solve is the time and hassle of going to the local markets. And our solution is providing fresh produce and fish directly to the doorstep of our customers. Our target market is the 9-to-5 employees who don't have the time to go to the marketplace for vegetables, fruits, or fish. Our market opportunity, 90% is the total available market. We've got this information from Facebook. When I started posting, all I did was just upload photos of the fish and the vegetables, and I started to get interest from people. So as soon as pictures were uploaded, I'd have customers or people calling me up to have my packages delivered to wherever they were. So as you can see, for our business model, it's B2C, so we deliver on demand, especially for those who don't have the time to go to the marketplace. For our traction in 2017, as you can see there, we were getting a lot of demand, and the challenge that I had over the years in 2018, 19, and just recently in 2020 is my problem was aggregating the fresh produce and the fish to one center point prior to delivering them. Because the demand was very high, I had to take a step back and really see how I could be able to solve the problem without having to blow up my reputation as a startup. For the milestones that I had, I was awarded second place when I pitched for Seedstars last year. I was the founder for Kumul Garden. Within the same year, in 2019, I was also interviewed by our national MTV News, and I was invited by the International Force Center of Democratic Partnerships to attend an ideas exchange dialogue that was held in Sydney last year. For my team, I have Rome Papal. She's a certified accountant. She helps me out with my finances, and she's taking care of everything that involves with financing and all of that. For James Bayang, he's my IT specialist. He deals with the tech stuff. Yeah. For the future, we're looking at establishing a cold and dry storage facility. I have a piece of land where I live. So what we are aiming to do is to aggregate supplies of fish from fishermen and fresh produce from farmers, all to one center point, to have them cleaned, packed, and delivered accordingly to our customers.
Thank you so much, Shalom, for your presentation. The first question that I wanted to ask you is just a clarification about the way you're operating. I see that you have like an IT technician part of the team. How does the business works? Do you have like an app? Do you have an app? Is it a website? People order on Facebook? How does that work?
Well, at the moment, I'm currently operating in the traditional way. Like I just deliver. I don't have an ordering app. I just do advertising on Facebook and email through the friends and family that I know. And from marketing, it's just simply word of mouth. So they tell me what they want through texting or just through email or WhatsApp. And I go and get the fresh produce or fish, and I have it delivered to them wherever they are and whenever they want it. For the future plans, I will be looking to developing an ordering app as well. That's why I've engaged an IT guy to take care of the tech side of things, and to create an online platform where I can get my customers to order and pay online. So it can be convenient for me because I currently do cash on delivery. For the deliveries, I'm the one that does the deliveries. I don't have a car, so I just take the public transport and I go to the marketplace where they sell fresh produce. I buy the fresh produce from there, and then I go to the market where they sell the fish. I buy the fish from there and then have them packed and I take them to my customers, which is the reason why I would really want to establish a cold and dry storage facility in my area so that I can be able to aggregate all these supplies to one center point and have them delivered to my customers.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Sharon. My question is like, how many customers do you currently have? And what's the size of the revenue or the profit you are making?
Currently, I have about 50 plus customers. In 2019, as you can see, my profit.
That's in Kina?
Yes, this is in Kina. Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't write the currency there. So this is between 60 to 80,000 annually. The reason it dropped this year is because I don't have a transport. And with the COVID-19 and the travel restrictions, I slowed down with my deliveries because I'm the only one who does all the delivering.
Yeah, that's understandable. You mentioned that all your products are organic. So you focus on organic products. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you sort of certify? How do you guarantee to your customers that all the products you are purchasing or sourcing are organic?
Well, for now, I am yet to get a certification, but with what I'm currently delivering, all I do is purchase the vegetables, the fruits, and the fish from the marketplace. So I just get them directly from the farmers and the fishermen that come to the local markets to sell before I deliver to my customers.
Okay, so you don't advertise it as organic or anything?
No, not as yet.
Okay. So that's a plan for the future. Did you say you wanted to focus on organic?
I have future plans, which I may also be looking to getting the organic certification. But as the acronym states, at your doorstep, I may look at other things like groceries and other things like that. So basically, it's delivering directly to your doorstep.
Okay. And are there similar competitors operating in Port Moresby?
Currently, yes, there is a few SMEs who are doing the same. From what I know through their Facebook marketing, they do deliveries similar to what I am doing, but our target markets are different.
How is that different?
For mine, I target the 8 to 5 employees, and for them, target the general public.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Shalom. Good to see you. I'm just curious to know, how big do you think this business could be? How big do you think the market is, both in Port Moresby, but potentially in other centres in Papua New Guinea?
Well, honestly, I'd say the market for this business is huge. And that's why I decided to start out small, because I would rather take smaller risks and learn from it and then grow as I progress and really find how to align myself with my customers, especially, and their needs, especially in PNG. Yeah. So the market is huge. I just want to be prepared to meet that demand.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question, Shalom, is if you were given a large amount of funding and you weren't constrained by money, what would be the first 2 or 3 things that you would do so that you could actually basically capture some of that larger market that you talk about?
I would continue doing my deliveries and visiting business houses. So I would target every employee in every organization to engage them to my platform. So I'd tell them, if they obviously wouldn't have the time to go to the marketplace, so I would provide them the solution of bringing the fresh produce and fish directly to wherever they are, which is at their offices, or if they want it to be delivered at home, I can just take it to their homes. So right now, I'm focusing on the business houses in downtown, and I may be moving to other centers as well. This is here in Port Moresby.
Thank you, Shalom. Thanks a lot again for the presentation and for being here with us today. We will be in touch very soon. So good luck with everything. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for your time.
My name is Christopher Vagale, and I am the CEO of a company called Agritech Organics Papua New Guinea Limited, which is a e-commerce blockchain / financial consultancy firm. I am from Eastern Britain province in Papua New Guinea. My startup is an online shop or e-commerce platform that allows farmers to onboard their products and to receive payment from Papua New Guinea and anywhere else in the world. The unique thing about our platform is that we have built in a traceability function to trace the product from the farmer all the way to the end user. And we've also incorporated cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin and Ethereum as a medium of payment for our people, aside from the conventional Visa and MasterCard options. Fundamentally, the people that we support are people in the rural areas. We've given them that opportunity to showcase and market some of their products online and receive payment in the form of cryptocurrencies. The reason why we've headed in that direction is because a lot of them don't have bank accounts, but they can easily access and maintain an e-wallet that holds cryptocurrency. What we're trying to achieve through this event is firstly support by way of networking partners. We want people to come on board and support our platform. and hopefully if we make it through the next rounds, we'll be able to access some kind of funding that will allow us to build the infrastructure and the logistical support we need to get the project countrywide. I hope that many other Papua New Guineans have the same opportunity as I have. I think this is a good opportunity, a learning experience for not just entrepreneurs, but anyone who's trying to create something. What you learn through this program allows you to actually refine your ideas and have them market ready. So you benefit from investments both within country and outside.
For emerging economies, the reality is access to financial inclusion services, trust, literacy and education, and especially accessibility and security when it comes to transacting or selling items online for their products. That is why we were created, Agritech Organics. My name is Christopher Vagale, and I'm the CEO of Agritech Organics PNG Limited. Agritech Organics is an online platform, an e-commerce platform that utilizes blockchain and distributed ledger technologies and for provenance and for payment purposes, utilizing cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and Bitcoin, aside from the conventional Master and Visa cards for payment option as a payment option. What is our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to bring service to the last mile. This includes logistical support, traceability and provenance capabilities, convenience on the part of consumers and the farmers, banking the unbanked, and sustainable development as the ultimate outcome of what we intend to do with our platform and the services that we provide. Why it will work for Papua New Guinea? Well, Papua New Guinea is predominantly a barter economy. We've, in the past, utilized things like shell money to trade. And we've used this analogy with a lot of our training. We've been in this space now for the last 2 years, and we've used that analogy to promote the use of a tokenized payment or system using things like cryptocurrencies and tokens as a medium of exchange. Now, what is the market size? Well, the formal sector exports for 2000 alone equated to around 3.7 billion, and that's the formal sector. That constitutes 15% of the entire exports or the value of subsistence farming within Papua New Guinea. What about the other 85%? That's where Agritech comes in. We're able to provide a platform that will upload all stakeholders, including the consumer and the farmers, allowing them to transact via our platforms. As you can see, based on our projections, we project a potential export capability of 20.9 billion kina based on existing trends. Our workflow is very simple. Our platform is the central hub wherein all stakeholders come on board, including the consumers, the farmers, and the agricultural producers. The platform allows them to then transact, upload their products, and trace products from farmers to the end consumer. Our income streams include annual subscriptions on the part of consumers and development partners, and commissions on our part, where we take out 6.9% of every sale that is made on the platform. Now, looking at our MVP, we've already created an MVP, which is online. It's a web-based platform with an online shop that has been further categorized into different product groups. And we also have a payment of card system, which includes, of course, the conventional payment methods, and of course, Bitcoin, which we've promoted through the use of our platform. Our platform is also mobile friendly, but we're also moving into creating a mobile app for both Android and iOS for the same platform. The type of traction that we've received over the past 12 months, we've received over 25,000 subscribers, and we've partnered with the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, and of course the digital ICT cluster, which promotes the type of technologies that we are promoting with the use of our platform. And our average monthly revenue equates to approximately 3,000 kina based on our financial statements currently. Our team is made up of myself. I'm the CEO. I'm an accounting professional with interest in IT. I'm a self-taught IT professional. We also have an advisor, Mr. Chandra, who provides a lot of experience in the areas of software programming and agile development. and he provides or brings to the table many years of experience within the IT industry and programming in general. We also have Consilia, who is our IT specialist, who deals with a lot of the human resource challenges that we face, especially in developing nations where literacy and other elements come into play when rolling out such a platform as this. And of course, we have Jane, who is our finance and administration executive, who handles a lot of our finance and administration work. For our platform, we're asking for support for funding in the amount of 250,000 USD. This will go towards the purchasing of equipment that will allow us to facilitate the logistical process tied into the back end of our system, and also to develop the mobile application for both Android and iOS. And of course, for housing and other operational costs, which come part and parcel of running the platform and the back end. And of course, we're looking to partner with partners within the space to help us get our startup out there and operational. Our partners include Ucash in Canada, who provide a lot of the support with regard to blockchain and the distributed ledger technology side. We also have the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, T4G, and of course, Real and Investing, which are also partners and stakeholders in our startup.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Christopher. One question that I have, I would like to start with is, could you shed some light a bit more on the revenue model that you have in mind for this platform?
Yeah, as I mentioned, our revenue model comes in two parts: the subscription and commission-based revenues. The subscription is based on the part of our farmers who actually have to pay a subscription to get on the platform, as well as our partners within the ecosystem. That includes transport providers and other parties that come on board to facilitate the movement of goods from point A to point B. On our part, we receive also a subscription which equates to 6.9% in commissions for any transaction that actually takes place on our platform for those that are unsubscribed.
And may I ask, just to follow up on this, in the traction slide that you showed before, you were talking about revenues. Where does this revenue come from? Is it the subscription? How many, farmers or people have on the platform register already, and how many transactions?
The subscription, and this is being conservative, we have approximately around 25,000 people who have subscribed. That equates to over between 100 and 150 transactions per month on the platform itself. And a lot of that, our revenue is based on the commission side of things. As I said, for those who are not subscribed members, we generate our revenue from the commissions that we receive.
Thanks, Christopher, for that presentation. At the start, you talked about the problem being growing the export market in agricultural products for Papua New Guinea. Can you sort of join the dots for me between your current customer set, so currently what the platform does, and how you intend to actually solve that larger problem that you've identified?
I think our biggest problem is the issue of financial inclusion. That's why we've opted to go with using technology such as cryptocurrency for especially traceability and for the receipt of payment, because most people are unbanked, but most of them have a mobile phone. So they're able to receive cryptocurrencies into their cryptocurrency wallet, which doesn't require the hefty requirements that the bank does. Most of them do not have an ID. Most of them are unable to write a letter or sign on the signature, things like that. So we've developed this to suit their needs so that they're financially inclusive. And how that addresses the problem of exports is that currently we're actually under-exporting. We're exporting only 15% of our true potential. So the platform allows them to come on board and cater for the other 85% of the population, which is largely subsistence farming, which are not given the light of day because of the conventional banking systems and that we currently have in place right now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And can I ask, you've got a lot of people already who are subscribers, and you've got some transactions. What percentage of those transactions are you finding are actually Bitcoin versus other means of payment?
For now, I think approximately 10%. As I said, the technology itself is relatively new. A lot of the users prefer to use the conventional Visa and MasterCard. But as I said, we've slowly gained traction, and a lot of our awareness, we've been doing awareness for the last 2.5 years now, just educating people about the use of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology and its benefits. It's an emerging technology, it's still in its infancy. So, and that's what we've come to expect, especially at this point in time when the technology is new. But we've seen the gradual growth in its usage, and I think our platform itself speaks about the technology and its many benefits, and as a result of that, many more people within the country are actually using the cryptocurrencies and blockchain now to transact.
Hi, Christopher. Thank you for the presentation. I had a question around your competitors. Have you done any research on who you are up against and what your cutting edges are for your business?
For us as a startup, the value proposition that we bring to the table is that we are all inclusive. We're not limited to people who have bank accounts or the formal sector. We get down right to the last mile. We're able to support people in the rural areas and bring their product to market. A lot of the competition that we currently have in the marketplace today are your brick and mortar businesses that have been around using models that have slowly been phased out due to the use of technology and things like that. So what we bring to the table is a systematic way to trace, receive payments for the product, and which also allows us to reach the people who need the services most.
Can you just explain? So you have 25,000 subscribers, and many of them are like agricultural products producers, so farmers. I'm assuming they wouldn't usually have bank accounts, or like they wouldn't be very familiar with concept of mobile banking. How, when they come on board with your technology, how do you break that barrier for them?
Yeah. That's a good question, and we're met with that question a lot. How do we convert that Bitcoin into cash which they can use? What we've done is most of the people that have subscribed, most of our users actually have e-wallets that are linked to a Visa card. So they're able to access their Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever the case may be, utilizing that Visa card, and it's debited straight from their online e-wallet. So that's how they're able to access those funds when they do get into the cities.
And most of your farmers, the farmers you are dealing with, are they based in Port Moresby, or are they based anywhere in country?
Okay, yeah, most of them are based in Port Moresby. We have, as I mentioned previously, we've ventured out into other centers as well and provided the training and uploaded a number of them from different locations just to get that traction happening. But you'll find that a lot of them are from Port Moresby, and that's part of our plan to start within Moresby and develop a model that actually works here before we actually take that out to other centers, just mimicking what we've done here in the capital.
Thank you so much, Christopher. So we are perfectly on time. And yes, you'll be hearing from us very soon. So thanks again for joining us today, and wish you a great rest of the day.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time.
What a great start to the competition. Before we see the remaining pitches, let's remind ourselves of what happened at last year's competition.
The name of my company is NewNet PNG Limited. We aim to address the accessibility, the affordability, and the relevance of digital learning content in Papua New Guinea.
I'm the co-founder of Solid Drone Services. We are trying to connect rural areas to basic services using cargo drones.
So I'm the founder for Kumu Garden. Basically, what Kumu Garden aims to do is to create a one-stop online agri-platform to connect local farmers in PNG to buyers anywhere in PNG and abroad.
I manage a startup called Agritech Organics Papua New Guinea Limited. We're into the research and development into technologies such as blockchain.
So one of the things I've really liked about the Seedstars Bootcamp is cutting to the chase about so many things to do with business.
The actual program itself, it takes you to the very beginning, how to identify what your issues are, what problems you're trying to address. I think I'm very comfortable now with what I need to do as a startup.
PNG has struggled particularly with internet connectivity and cost over the years, so that's meant that a lot of the services that have developed aren't necessarily technologically savvy. But we're starting to see that change, and the Coral Sea cable coming into play later this year is going to make a really big difference.
We do have the issue of finding local capacity that can fill multiple roles technically, so looking for full stack developers that also know a bit about network connectivity and security. That's the challenge we've currently been faced with.
DFAT's involvement with Seedstars is multifaceted in terms of why we do that, and we're very thrilled that it's also in collaboration with GSMA. GSMA have been a great partner from the perspective of obviously their skills and expertise around innovation ecosystem building, around growing startups, but also the access to the mobile network operators. In terms of Seedstars, we thought it would be valuable to help startups and entrepreneurs in the Pacific to realise that they're not isolated. They are part of a bigger global system, and of course Seedstars is a global competition, so it gives them the opportunity to compete in their country, which is great. They get to see others in their country, but then have the opportunity to go to the regional finals and then the finals, so that they can be part of a much bigger global picture of startups and entrepreneurship.
The last 72 hours has been completely incredible. We've got a before view of our pitch and an after view, and they look completely different. The lessons that we've learned over the last 2 days with Seedstars has been incredible.
It was really great to see the pitches that they had and the maturity of their pitches. You know, they understood the problem, they understood the solution.
We just wanted to give our best and see the outcome of it, and to make second place, it really means a lot to the whole lot of us.
We're really thrilled with the winners. We feel, as a panel, we feel they will represent PNG as well as themselves.
I love that this is just the start of other Port Moresby and Papua New Guinean startups participating in Seedstars events. You have the ability to pivot, to change, to iterate very quickly with different experiments with your business and product. And I wouldn't have realized that without the training from Seedstars supported by GSMA and the PNG Oz partnership. So yeah, it's been amazing.
EduLife aims to provide a digital platform for life and soft skills for post-secondary youths. My name is Donald Tamari, and I'm the co-founder of EduLife. Every year, almost 80% of students do not make it into the formal system of education, and they're always branded by the communities or societies that they are living in as failures. So this mentality or mindset drives most of them to resort to the abuse of illegal substances, thus resulting in the increase of antisocial behavior, which is seen as a threat to development efforts from the government or its partners. So EduLife is trying to provide this web-based learning platform targeting these youths, which we assume almost 2 out of 5 youths own a smartphone. And also we'd like to give them the second chance so that they could develop life and soft skills. So we believe that this web-based learning focusing on intrinsic values will help them to have that self-esteem. So it will help them remove the mindset that they have that they're failures. So it will help boost their confidence and motivation so they could help themselves lead a positive lifestyle. So the traction we have, empirical studies have been made and research by my co-founder recently as 2019, and has contributed a chapter in this book, Pacific Youth, Global and Local Futures. And currently we are working with some youths who are testing the prototypes, our prototype website as well as the app. So for our revenue model, since we're just at the ideation stage, we're thinking of, as a marketing strategy, we're trying to have this freemium model, and then we'll venture into subscription-based revenue. And then once our website comes into play, we'll have this ad-based revenue. But our main form of like revenue will come from the students. So we're trying to like not of like overcharge them, but sort of like be reasonable with our pricing. So we're trying to charge them $150 per course per year. So our targets are the youth, therefore resulting in such amount. So our growth story, we'd like to take this idea into a web-based learning platform. So before the start of 2025, we'd like to have this up and running. And in like 5 years from there, we would like to have developed another mobile app that will help us to reach further into the rural areas of Papua New Guinea. And by 2035, we would like to create an institute online, similar to Udemy, but we're not trying to be like competitive, but we just want to provide the courses, extra courses that will be relevant to the context in PNG, so that we can address the youth bulge here. The team consists of Imelda Ambele, who is almost at 15 years plus of experience, who is an educator in secondary school and is currently teaching at the University of Technology as well, and also has experience in curriculum development as well. I'm an electronics technician and an upcoming software enthusiast, and we are yet to include sales, finance, and legal team, which will help us make this team a strong team to address this issue. So since we are just taking off, EduLife is seeking to ask around $30,000 just to get us off the ground, so that it will help us create the website and the content as well. And for starting, we mentioned about freemium, so we'd like to give free trainings so that it will act as a marketing strategy for us. So yeah, EduLife is trying to digitally enable the youths so that they could navigate the environment, perform well, and achieve their goals with competitive art skills, so that they live a more positive lifestyle here in Papua New Guinea.
Thank you so much, Vanua. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Nozomi, Matt, do you have any questions for Vanua?
I do. Thank you so much for your presentation. I just wanted to ask you about your product offering. So I understand you are building this digital platform to offer extra education, especially for those who couldn't complete secondary education. But in terms of contents that you are offering, what are you talking about here? What is the goal of those contents? Are you trying to get them back into the mainstream education? Or are you trying to give them like a better self-esteem? Or are you trying to get them job ready in the formal sector? What is the goal? And how are you trying to shape your products to fit those goals?
Okay, can I ask my founder, she'll elaborate more on that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. So for Papua New Guinea, most of the schools that are currently offering these youths or these young people, if it's a structural problem we have, or challenge, not a problem, but a challenge, because structurally we have very limited space for those who are in the school system, who start primary school right up to college and to university, there's always this filtering system that happens. So we just have so few who end up in the colleges or universities. So the bulk of them are usually out there in the communities or in the urban places, wherever they are, generally with nothing focused on to do. So what EduLife is trying to do, because of that, most of them turn to just casually sitting around, causing problems that are not really necessary in the villages as well as in the towns. So it's an issue that we see is to do with personal development. It's an issue that we see is to do with personal empowerment, self-esteem, and all that, because in the formal system, there is this unintentional outcome that happens is people are pressed against time to pass the national exams that are there. With the teacher-student ratio that is so big, they can't teach holistically some of these skills that are needed for these young youths, because they will have to pass the main core subject. So we feel and we see, after being in the system, that these students need to be empowered more, to see that there is not, having an employment is not a guarantee to education. There is more to education. And we would like to provide that avenue where they need to look inwardly, that education is a lifelong thing and it starts with the personal development. We want to tell them that you are just as important as somebody who is in the university. How can you make your life more meaningful to contribute to the villages? Because the villages is where the biggest problem is, the push factor. They come to the town and they contribute a lot of issues that we see generally happening.
And do you think the youth would be interested in signing up to your program? If you had this up and running, like would like sort of $150 you talked about as a fee paying basis, do you think that is sort of attractive to your potential customers?
We understand that most of these youths financially don't have enough money. So what we have started is we said, okay, $250 for one lesson, 1 hour. Just $250 is about how many US dollars? Maybe $70 US or so for one 1 hour. We're just offering, for example, a lesson like self-esteem. What is self-esteem? It's a free thing that we're giving to youths to understand who they are. So like, if you are interested, you can just pay $250 for this 1 hour session. So we are starting it slowly, small, by bit like this. But we want to get out there to many youths because for me, I have done study, especially with youths in the rural. We don't have the money, but we just want to share our idea in this platform that has been given to us. And we are so thankful.
Thank you very much. It's obviously education's a really big challenge. And thank you for taking that challenge on. I'm interested, what other sort of activities are happening in this space? So whether there's competitors in the market, or what else, other, potentially NGOs or other sort of partners are doing that is similar and could be potentially either competitive or that you could partner with?
We understand that there are NGOs, like Guinea Goda is a very local organization, NGO, that directly looks at vulnerable youths like this and people who have not gone to school, who need literacy skills. Such programs are there, but they're mostly based in Port Moresby and I think in some urban areas like Ley. Our target is mostly to the rest of PNG because we believe that they need this program that we are trying to pursue. Officially speaking, in such a program like this, where we have planning to take it on the web and digital platform, there is nothing in PNG, maybe other countries, yes, but in PNG alone, contextually, from our knowledge, there's nothing, yes. But NGOs like Gidi Goada and others are doing certain things in certain communities. But we do want to partner with these kind of groups. Yes, definitely. We want to partner with the church, with other organizations as well.
Just a quick question about the content that you would like to produce and use in the platform. Who would be producing the content? Would you be outsourcing it? How would that work?
We will definitely outsource, or we will also use other people to help us write the content, people who are more expert in these subjects that we are going to teach. Myself as well, we are going to ourselves will also contribute. So we know that there are people out there in the system who are going to be asked for to help us develop the content. And of course, we have standard programs that are there already, which we can look at, adapt it to suit our needs and our context based in PNG, because it's a local problem that we are so very familiar with. We've lived in the system and we are part of the victims of this problem maybe, and we also contribute to it. We are part and parcel of this whole thing. So the understanding is very, very clear locally and contextually. So we are confident to write the kind of content that we want to deliver.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Again, thanks a lot. We'll be in touch soon. And congratulations again. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
My name is Isaac Gypsy. My startup is called Odesh Limited. Odesh is a transport and ride-hailing tech startup aimed to improve and modernize the public transport service in Port Moresby City by providing a safe, convenient and cheaper services. I'm from Papua New Guinea and I see challenges faced by many people every day. So in order for us to, it's not fair for us to just allow those issues to remain, but we have to do something to address those issues because this is our home, this is where we live, and that's one of the key motivation factor that push me to focus on my startup, because it's going to change people's life, especially in the public transport sector. I really want to thank Seedstars Port Moresby for giving Odesh the opportunity to participate in this event. It gives you that platform to showcase your startup, especially if you have future plans to scale not only within Port Moresby but regionally.
City Pharmacy Limited has enlisted the services of taxi tech startup Odesh to provide transportation services for its staff. The cementing of the partnership follows a 6-month trial in which CPL found the services of the startup efficient and, most importantly, affordable.
CPL today cemented a deal with the taxi tech startup On-Demand Express Services Hub, or Odesh, for the transportation of hundreds of CPL staff working the afternoon and evening shifts. CPL engaged Odesh 6 months ago on a trial basis with one retail outlet. It eventually rolled out to all of its retailers. Efficiency and safety are the main differences which CPL found appealing.
The taxi drivers that are actually servicing CPL, they've done a wonderful job, and they've done a wonderful job in servicing our staff and making that all our staff actually get to their homes every night safely. We have an incident-free transportation for last 6 months now, and your team has done a wonderful job. So,
similar to the globally used app Uber, Odesh allows customers to book trips via the Odesh application. Odesh has 140 taxis with well-trained and trusted drivers and has 24 hours GPS tracking. They also provide emergency support in critical situations.
We also had that partnership with the NCDC police, where once we receive the alert, we let our contact person within NCDC police know so that they can actually provide timely response.
One of the Kumul Game Changers startup winners in 2020. Following its launch, Odesh has registered 2,000 clients, with CPL being the first business-to-business partnership. Cedric Pajole, TV1 News.
My name is Isaac Gypsy. I'm the founder and CEO of Odesh Limited. I think the video I've covered some of those slides already. The opportunity part in Port Moresby, in Papua New Guinea, we have 10 million people. And then from that, we've started in Port Moresby more than 6 months ago, but we're thinking of going to Ley, so we're looking at 2.5 million people. And then the SAM that we're targeting is 650,000. So currently there are not enough data available in terms of the public transport sector, the amount of, the money that people are spending and all that. There's not much research done on the area, so that's why I have only the population showing from the broader perspective from PNG to the province, to provinces, and then the target customers. So that's the opportunity that we see at the moment that we're targeting. So most of the female and women are the ones that we've been getting a lot of requests for pickup and drop off. So business to customers and then business to business. There's two types of service that we are providing. The revenue model, the unit economics, as I've said, we've got two segments. One is business to customers, where we have our own sofas and taxis. We have 6 so far. So basically just to set the standards, that's why we actually have our own fleets. And then we've signed up more than 140 taxis and sofas, where we are charging 10-15% per fee, just subscription based. Our CAC CAC is $2 per customer. LTV is 415 per customer. The business to business model, we've successfully secured a contract. Currently, we are providing a staff drop-off from one of those major retailers in the city. And the amount that you see there is the value of the contract that we currently have. Okay, in terms of traction, our monthly revenue is $30,000 per year, per month. We have a 25% MOM growth rate, and then currently have 400 plus paying customers. That includes the business as well as the individual clients. So we have a 5-year projection there that shows the revenue forecast for Odesh. And then we have a team. Michael Ipa is the chairman. He was our seed investor. He came on board last year, November, and he owns 15% of my startup. And he's a businessman. He had 10 years of experience in running startups and businesses. I worked for ExxonMobil for the last 10 years. I have an MBA and I own majority of the company. So my wife, and then we have a CTO who is actually based in India, and he takes care of all the tech side of things. So that's basically Odesh team. I'm pitching to ask to seek strategic partnership for regional expansion and scale, and then later for expansion. So basically we have enough funding to accelerate our growth within Port Moresby and then Ley, but for long term we're looking at expanding not only within PNG, but we're looking to go to Fiji and Samoa and even Australia if need be, and then to Indonesia because we just share the border. So that's basically it. Unique value proposition, that's a bonus slide we have. Currently we have one of the security transport company that also provides software services. So it's a premium services. It's called Black Swan. That's our only competitor we have. So what we want to do is we want to offer that same level of service, but at a very cheapest cost that will be affordable and available to the general public.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for the presentation. Let me start with one question that I have for you, which is related to, given all of this Uber, Grab, lift around the globe. Before going on actually into the competition sort of side of things, I wanted to ask, how are you addressing the safety issue of passengers using your app?
We actually have a partnership with the NCDC police. So we've signed a memorandum of understanding where we have a contact person, a police officer within the operations control center. So when we get the alerts from our apps, okay, we have a call center as well that receives all those alerts, like the location of where the alert is coming from, the vehicle that the client is traveling on, all those drivers' details, everything. So the GPS log information is actually sent to our call center, and we provide that same information to our police contact within the NCDC Operations Center, and then they dispatch any nearby police to intervene. So it's a public-private partnership for public safety. So that's the key component of the safety aspect that we in the process that we had in place. And then we have other, partnership with some security companies, just a couple of them, just in case if there's a delayed response from the police, we at least have a plan B that, those guys can be able to assist if need be. So, and then later we're thinking of having our own rapid response unit where we have our own dedicated guys just to be on call, to stand by and then intervene if need be, because safety is one of the key issues in Port Moresby. Like if you do Google search, you will see a lot of accidents reported, by taxi drivers and all that stuff, like harassing the passengers and all that. So that's one of the key factors that we want to, or key issues that we want to address going forward.
Thanks, Isaac. Great to hear about Odesh. I'm wondering who, like you talked about Black Swan, they're obviously a key competitor for that business market and probably your only competitor. What about for the business to consumer? So for the consumer market, who are you really competing with?
There are some aggregated service providers like the SMEs, individuals who have like 3 or 4 vehicles and who have their own existing customers, and then individual taxi operators. So basically what Odesh wants to do is to build a platform where we bring all those aggregated players in the public transport sector, especially the SOFA and taxi service providers. And then we just set the standards and then be able to provide a service that is affordable and accessible to many people. So in terms of business to customers, our focus is not to compete with the existing service providers, but we want to promote them by giving them this platform so that they can also provide the service, and then we can charge our subscription fee based on that arrangement.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm curious to know what's the growth in your business in terms of both customers as well as the number of drivers that you have in that consumer market. What's that been like in the last, say, or since you've launched, really?
I would say the interest is there. A lot of people download the app. So in terms of the interest, there's huge potential because we are the first one. Like Black Swan, they also introduced Uber clone app, but because of the price, not a lot of people, like general public, did not use their service. But for us, because it's cheap, many people wanted to use our app, but there's a huge untapped potential from business to customers, where we need to do more awareness. We need to drive more marketing campaigns and just awareness, help them understand the process. Like we've actually did some app upgrades, like the carpooling feature, which was not there before. Just last month, we've actually introduced that so that it will bring the fee really down. Like for example, a trip that used to cost 30 kina will be 10 kina. So those are some things that we're trying to do. So once we reduce the price, once we have those vehicles, meet our standards and everything, I think the business to customer demand will significantly grow. That's the, going forward vision, that expectation that I have right now. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Isaac.
Hi, Isaac. I had a couple of questions. You mentioned about 30,000 kina revenue per month. Is that mainly coming?
Sorry, 30,000 USD.
USD.
Yes.
Is that mostly coming from business to business model or business to customers? What are the percentage?
It's 99% of that revenue is business to business.
Okay. And I know like public transport, especially for female customers in Port Moresby, is a huge issue. So in the taxi situation where, you know, there is a possibility of male driver with the female customers, how are you sort of guaranteeing the safety of the female customers? Like what is your cutting edge so you can promote further?
One of the reasons why we got our own fleets is to have additional features in like the camera, the GPS tracker, and then having the drivers train with defensive driving and some of those key trainings that they need to do, instead of just training everybody, all the taxi drivers, because of cost and because of various issues. So over the last few months, we have been receiving most of our requests. I would say 90% of our requests are from the female customers. And when we get those requests coming through our app or through our call center, we assign them to our vehicles first. And when our vehicles are not free, then we have a list of taxis that we actually trust. And in terms of trust, I mean going through the police clearance checks, just the historical background. We tell them that these are our standards. They download our app. They understand our expectations. So we actually transfer their request to them because we know that they're going to take care of the customers. So it's, I would say, that issue, the security issue, especially with the female passengers, it's an ongoing issue at the moment. It's been there before before Odesh came on board. So that's an ongoing issue that we're currently addressing one step at a time. So these are some steps that we are taking. And as we, those 140 taxis that I've mentioned are basically providing the business to business service. So for the company, but for the business to customers, that's a bit challenging part because like we had some success previously where we've been using, one or two trusted taxis and then our fleets. So going forward, we're thinking of following that model to others that will follow, so that we can minimize incidents, especially the female passengers and girls and ladies. So that if that's okay, I think that's where I can stop.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Isaac, for your presentation and your time. That was really appreciated. And wishing you all the best. We'll be in touch soon.
My name is Rachel Benig and I'm representing Travel for Green PNG. I come from a small island state in the Pacific, in the Western Pacific. It's Papua New Guinea. Our startup is basically to offset carbon footprints. It's to do with climate change. So what we do is to create an online payment system backed by blockchain technology. So blockchain technology it can be used in green startups, green techs, especially in forest conservation. So we are utilizing that to offset carbon footprints. In Papua New Guinea, we have a very huge forest cover. So we are trying to economize that opportunity. What we hope to learn and achieve is more information and opportunities to help our work, help us achieve the goal of our project. And this is a really great opportunity for us to not only to seek financial assistance but also to learn. So we can utilize what's information is out there, the latest technology and the mechanisms that we can to improve our work and improve our projects and our work.
All right, thank you very much. This concept came about because we see the big need in sustaining our indigenous forests in Papua New Guinea. So the theme of the logo, or the theme of the concept is sustaining indigenous forests and offsetting travel carbon footprints in Papua New Guinea using blockchain technology or on a blockchain-powered platform.
So the problem is basically there is a concern about the validity of verified credits, especially forest-based emissions, carbon forest emissions, and on a global scale. This problem is identified on a global scale. In addition to that one, another problem is the concern that the lack of transparency and the tracking of the credits to ensure that there is a double counting, especially when carbon auditing takes place. And again, that problem is at a global scale. So a lack of transparency and accountability on payments to indigenous landowners in Papua New Guinea, especially on for result-based payments on a RED Plus, are the ones that provoke the idea of T4G. Where together it started in 2018, and yeah, with that problem, having seen that problem, our solution is to provide a digital platform that can generate, distribute, track, trade, or allow trade and exchange units of carbon reductions under the PNG nationally approved monitoring and reporting verification, or MRV, and forest FREL, forest accounting procedure, and methodologies that the climate scientists use, especially to verify credits from forests. So to provide a robust, transparent, and accountable digitized payment mechanism for RED Plus or carbon verification process. So our solution is to help the landowners. So how do we see the problem and solution as an opportunity? So in Papua New Guinea, there is an estimated 22 million hectares of tropical intake rainforest. In PNG, there's and from those forests, there's an estimated 15 million forest carbon stocks in PNG. That is yet to be verified and to be traded. So that's the opportunity, that the idea to bring this platform forward. And United Nations RED Plus model is to therefore to finance developing countries like Papua New Guinea. So thereby we have the opportunity as a developing country, or as a tech idea from developing country like Papua New Guinea, who has a lot of forests, to venture into this one. This is where T4G stands to provide the solution and participate. So our opportunity is basically the green economy. The business model is basically we fall under the traditional business model to collect fees, or transaction fees. So I completed the faster digital payment platform for the stakeholders that we provide in RED Plus results-based payments that made available, and an effective way of validating and tracking transactions, especially transactions to landowners. And as I've saying earlier on, the model is basically to collect fees, or our source of income would be from transaction fees, the small fees that we would collect, having the landowner and having the buyer of the carbon credits. So the purpose of this platform, as we are providing the platform for the beneficiaries of high LGs in PNG, are the landowner groups, or in short, the ILG, but the incorporated land groups. These are somewhat complicated, complex concepts that this model tries to put together, or bring a cluster of people, especially they live in communities. They try to bring together, so that through this platform, payments will be made through and processed through cooperative societies, associations, or some others that can bring people together, SMEs or small businesses, and the land cost to trade, exchange, and benefit and receive the payments, or RED Plus payments, or other green finances that made available to the platform. And to increase local participation in the global climate fight, and positively impact the growth of national green economy. So transaction. So far, we have been our concept has been firstly since we started in 2018 and have been selected as one of the 15 pitches or 15 startups that have been selected by Triple GI, Global Green Growth Institute, as a green entrepreneur. We represent the Papua New Guinea on that scale. There were 14 others from other different countries, and there were 165 pitches made globally, and we were among the shortlisted. Another improvement or another thing that we have done is we have set up a nursery setup, and that nursery setup will supply the tree planting needs in Port Moresby and other selected provinces.
Sorry, Peter. I have to stop you here quickly because the time is up for the pitch. A quick question that I have for you, if you could cover briefly, who is the team behind Travel for Green, and why is this the right team to address this issue?
The team is comprised of 4 members initially. Myself as putting together or coiling the idea, and Christopher Vagila, I think he made a presentation earlier in here today. Agritech Organics, he provide a blockchain tech advisory and support to the platform. Rachel Beng, who is here with me as a co-founder, is environmental science and has a background in geography. Albert Opeta is environmental science as well, specific area is biology. Fiona Kende, environmental science and chemistry, and we have other IT support externally.
Thanks all for this. And maybe just to go back to your previous slide about the traction, I just wanted to understand what is the current development of your solution. Have you already engaged on the blockchain side? Is everything working in terms of like the technology?
In terms of technology, we started our initial discussion with Christopher, who will actually give us the support, and we also talk to potential developers. We're talking to potential developers, but we would secure funds to actually develop. So we have the white paper to develop the platform.
Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask a potentially very introductory question. Is carbon already traded in Papua New Guinea?
Yes, they are voluntary and compliance method of trading, and already both are traded in PNG on compliance and also on voluntary. Red April Salome in ECP, they have theirs on verified websites, and they are trading. That's the first project that the government is supporting, and they are on trading. And they support some other projects that we are working on in next year and onwards.
Okay, so it's a government-supported sort of pilot project, so to say.
Yes.
So in terms of customers, is your product still ideation stage? Therefore, you don't have customers yet, or have you already identified customers once your product is ready to be launched?
We have customers already. Our customers are basically the communities, the landowner group. How they become our customers is that we have the verified carbon credits loaded onto our system. Once we have that, there are companies, there are countries out there in developed countries, like in China, like in Germany, like in US. They wanted to offset their carbon footprint, so they want to buy. And that list is an ongoing list, and they are waiting. So what we need to do is to have communities to have their carbon verified in the forest that they have, and have them on a platform.
So how
we
many
need to develop that platform or the technology to develop that platform to have those credits verified and made available on the platform, so that these are the buyers will come in.
Okay. And do you already have some landowners lined up?
Yes, definitely. We have increasing number of landowners lined up. We are liaising with the government. The government supports us in both advice and regulatory documentations.
Okay. How are you identifying those landowners?
Landowners in Papua New Guinea, 95% of the land is owned by customary landowners. So they form a cluster group, which I mentioned earlier, ILG, Incorporated Land Groups. So that is a legal process that landowners are recognized. So through that, the government recognizes and they get into the system. So that we are dealing with the government currently.
Okay, so you have access to the owners through the government already.
We have direct access, but then we make that information presented to the government to verify that these are landowners that are participating for the government is into it for the purposes of information. They want the information to be shared with them.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for the presentation. I'm interested to know from here, what is the roadmap?
The next thing, right now I have a slide here. It is how does it work? From that, probably before I answer that question, I probably might want to go as well to the transition. Everything since 2018, we have the white paper to develop the platform. We have identified the landowners to work with. We have forests. We have people interested to go onto the platform. And we have partners already identified, but we lack of funding. So we asked the government to fund it, but the government has a long way and long process to do that, and probably this is a new thing for them to do it. They are a bit very spectacular about how blockchain will be used. So that's why we have longer discussions than normal.
Thank you so much. A follow-up question on this. So how much funding are you looking for, and what would be the first thing that you would do with this money?
And the first thing that we would do with any funding that we would get is go to the villages to identify the landowners, to have them register the ILGs, and to collect the information. Then we collect the forest data, and all this will be added onto the platform. But before going into the identifying the landowners, we need to have that platform available.
And do you have an estimation of how much would you need to actually create the platform?
We have been targeting between 100 to 500,000 US to start with, and that money we could be able to develop the platform and get the landowners verified carbons onto the platform to make available.
Okay, that's really clear. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Peter, for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, and have a good rest of the day ahead.
My name is Shaimapa. I'm the co-founder of Afro Computer Training Institute, and I'm from an island in the Pacific known as Papua New Guinea. My startup is an innovative training institute. We train the computer illiterates to professionals. I'm helping the job seekers, entrepreneurs, and working class professionals learn different types of skills in IT. I'm proud to be in this program because through me, other entrepreneurs will see that as a good opportunity for them to try, and that will make them more confident to look out of the box from where they are.
Looking at the picture there, you might be wondering what that picture is. Why is that building up there? But that's my first classroom that I started. And coconut leaves there made of bamboos. And as you can see right at the end, there's a whiteboard there. It's a Coca-Cola promotion board that I use as my whiteboard, and I have a table there. Afro Computer Training Institute is an innovative training institute that started from zero money, no facility, no equipment, that enables job seekers, individuals, entrepreneurs, and the working class professionals to learn the skills, different basic skills of IT. The problem that we try to solve is we try to address the lack of IT skills in Popondetta, which is my province. solution that we provide quality training at an affordable price delivered on time. Looking at our chart, since 2016, I had only 250 students. The one in blue are the 6 months program that I ran. Orange is the short courses, and we have the working class. 30 of 10 short courses students, and we had 20 to 30 working class. 2017, it had to go up a bit to 250, almost to 3, because I had to graduate my first batch. And because of the graduation, it brought in more students. 2018, it dropped a bit because I didn't have a proper facility and equipment to train them. So some students decided to just leave. In 2019, I dropped down a bit to 20. I had only 20 for 6 months and 5 short course students. 2020, I dropped dramatically because of the pandemic, and I stopped the training. I was also sick for months, so I decided to just leave the training out. But our projection for 2021, I'm pretty sure that with my networking and the accelerator program that I attended has boosted a lot of students who are now coming to me, enrolling, asking me when I'm going to start so they can start enrolling for next year. So I'm looking at a bigger number. Within 3 months, we're looking at getting 300 students and 100 of working class and short course. 2020, we're thinking, we project that it should go up, rise up to 400 and 100 of working class and 100 short courses students we should have. 2023, we should reach a target of 1,000 because I now have 2 other sub-branches in Poponeta that are ready to open. So I project that we should have quite a good number of students, and we're planning to create an application with students in the remote area because the 2 sub-branches that will be opening up are in the very remote area. They have access to internet, but they can't come into town to attend classes. So I've decided to go and start it up there where if I don't, due to transport going in, only transport leading into those villages through air and sea. So if the sea is rough and I can't make it, or if the plane doesn't arrive on time, we can use an application to train students online. Or I can also use Zoom to do the training, and we can use an application called Slack for communication purpose. Business model is B2B. Our revenue model is B2B and B2C. B2B, currently I'm not working on it. I'm going directly to customer to customers. Our unit economics, my minimum deal for 1 year, which is next year, is 750,000. Average is 3 years. Customer acquisition cost is 1,500. I'll be charging per student. And 1 to 2 million plus lifetime value. I'm looking at within 3 years time, we should be able to make 2 million. And my growth will triple by 2023. The team, I am the director. I have 10 years of experience in admin and IT. And I've also got somebody on board, which is Miss Prudence Finance. She's the advising officer. She advises me when it comes to administration and I'm not doing the right thing, she comes in to tell me, and she does it, so I don't step in. We asked for 500,000 to cover 12 months operation. That 500,000 will be invested into new features, development, 35% growth user base, marketing, 40% operational cost, 25%. To conclude, entrepreneurs or startups don't need money to start any business. What we need is ourselves to do anything. And it's better to start small and think globally. it also doesn't matter how we fall, but how we get up and go. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Patricia, for the presentation. So let me start with one question quickly, which is, you said that you are planning to get to about 300 students over the next few months, and you're projecting a growth to triple your growth by 2023. I'm just so the question would be, how are you planning to achieve these numbers, and how do you plan to onboard all these students?
We've projected that figure because looking at the need and the pain of those people, we've decided to go rural now, because in Eben, we've got quite a number of customers in Eben, but I've realized that when we go out into the rural part of the province, there are a lot of students. So when I went from one village to the next, doing awareness about my cause and what I am doing, I've got quite a number of interested applicants, which is more than what we've projected. So if we get 100 in, I'm assuming that if 100 comes in to show interest, I would retain 50% of those 100, and I'm ready to keep the 20.
If you manage to achieve this growth, how are you gonna handle it in terms of delivery of the trainings?
I'm planning to use an application, as well as we put in more qualified people to come in and go into those rural areas to help me and train, and making sure that we have a good quality internet connections in those areas so we can run the training.
Hi, Patricia. Good to see you. I'm interested to know who exactly is your customer? So who are the people that are going to be in your classes? And what other options, what other alternatives do they have for getting this sort of IT education?
Thank you, Matt. The type of targets that I'm looking at is job seekers. We have a lot of unemployed youths in the province, which are now involved in illegal activities, young ladies getting pregnant out of wedlock. So yes, I'm looking at job seekers, and also individuals ages from 14 to 65, because one of my last client was a 68-year-old man. So yeah, that's my target, from individuals and working class as well. Working class, our province is way behind technology, I'd say, compared to Port Moresby. So working class professionals are my targets that I'm looking at as well, and as well as entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are starting to boom in the province. So those are the target types that I'm looking at right now.
And what alternatives do they have in terms of getting that ICT education?
For job seekers, if they attend my institution, they will be able to access the internet and find jobs online. They can have access, learn how to use Microsoft Office and all the applications that come in the office. So they can learn how to type cover letters, their CVs, send and receive emails, so it can be easy for them to look for jobs. For individuals, they know how to use Facebook only, and they don't know how to use the internet. So they can access information easily online. For entrepreneurs, they can learn how to create applications or create their own websites that are now, other entrepreneurs are charging them for more when they can do it online for free, sometimes for others very low price. And for the working class, they can make it, their work will be much more easier when they start using the computers. And instead of, I see a lot of staffs walking from one office to another carrying a bunch of papers just to sign. So they can learn how to use internet, so they can send and receive emails very easily. So it won't be difficult for them to run from one office to the next when it's raining or when the sun is really hot.
Hi, Patricia. Thank you for the presentation. I had a couple of questions. So going forward, are you looking at business to customer model, or are you looking at business to business model as your focus?
Yes, I'm looking to go in business to business too, because I've been training some of the business houses as well. For example, our provincial general hospital, I go in there to train their staffs, and I've seen that there's a great need there, so I've decided. And also, I've also taught in a private institution as an offline trainer, and I've really seen the need of staffs and students as well. So yes, I'm looking at going from B to B2.
Do you have any strong leads already, like some businesses are willing to be your customer when you establish your business? Or is that the level you are just casually talking about your ideas?
Thank you. I already have some businesses that are just on standby because of the COVID. I have the governors, our provincial governor's office, who are just waiting for me right now. Governor Gary Jufa's office, they are just on standby, waiting. Whenever they are ready with the funds, I will go in and start the training with them.
So each business, what are the size are we talking about? Are you going to train like 5 employees, or are you looking at 20 employees, or is that bigger?
I'm looking at 20 and above.
Oh, interesting. Have you thought about, like, have you identified possible partners you could be working with?
Right now, I haven't looked at any partners, but I have mentors and some networks that I've created while going through accelerator programs and going for other programs as well. So yes, I'm looking at partners from outside, but I haven't, I've talked about it yet. I've talked about partnering with others, but I am still not on that point yet.
Okay. And so, like, when you mentioned like any training, it's very difficult to go from zero knowledge to basic knowledge, and I'm sure your customers are the same. So when you are training IT skills, like, what do you have as a training offering? Like, do you have a laptop they can use of, or I'm assuming like your customers, because they don't have IT skills, they wouldn't have the laptops, the computers, etc.
Thank you. I encourage my students to come with their smartphones because, we realize that computers are decreasing in size now, and smartphones you can use that to do anything too. So I encourage my students to bring smartphones, and all of them, most have smartphones. So we install the specific softwares that we are like Microsoft Word. When we are going through word processing, they install word processing in their smartphones, and we use that to do our practicals together.
Oh, I see. Thank you very much. That was it.
Thanks a lot, Patricia, for your presentation and for answering all these questions. It was a pleasure having you. And yeah, I wish you a great rest of the day ahead. Thanks a lot for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Amazing pitches. Congratulations to all the 8 entrepreneurs showcasing their innovative ideas to the jury. Now let's hear what the judges thought about the pitching startups.
Let's go one by one in order of pitches. So I would start with Green Smart Contractors.
Yeah, look, I really like Nancy's approach. I think is really directly addressing what really is, in her words, an eyesore, and really the difference between village life and urban life. And I think it is a big challenge she's taking on, and not just dealing with the direct problem of waste, but also dealing with what's the behaviour change beneath that that needs to happen. So.
Yeah, I really liked her idea of using mothers and youth as a workforce and really giving them sort of opportunities to develop career in the sector. Yeah, that was really inspiring.
Perfect. Blue Sky Solutions and Kelly, I really think that it's definitely like a huge problem they're trying to address. So it's really important for Papua New Guinea. And I also liked a lot the fact that he has some, as you were mentioning, Nozomi, during the Q&A, some first-hand experience himself. So that's definitely like an added value to the business.
Yeah, look, I think probably two sides of it. One is that idea of unlocking the agricultural sector really makes sense in Papua New Guinea, and it's really important. And doing it in a way that relies less on cash is important, given that most activity happens in rural areas. It's hard to move cash around. There's a lot of challenges around going cashless. I think he's addressing it head on with that digital wallet. So yeah, great effort.
Nozomi, would you mind sharing maybe your thoughts on aid?
Yeah, sure. I think she was obviously really passionate about this. Definitely. And I really liked how it was very clear in her mind who the target was. Possibly working people who is in the office 8 to 5 who cannot get to the market. And it's if you have that sort of clear idea of who the target is, I think it's so much easier to in terms of marketing, the promotion, identifying customers, and I really like that. And then also her idea of going to organic, because obviously it relates to pollutions, also quality of food, and the food kids are eating in Papua New Guinea as well. Obesity obviously is a huge issue in Papua New Guinea, and anything you can do in terms of nutrition, that's a really welcome thought, I thought.
Agritech Organics, Christopher.
I think it's a really interesting use case for blockchain, what he's trying to do. And I think it's both an enabler and it can rely on existing infrastructure with the banks, as well as creating an alternative payment method. I think it's probably one of the best blockchain use cases I've seen.
And I think also they seem to have a good traction so far. So yeah, very interesting projects for sure.
Yeah.
Moving into the education sector, we had EduLife. I really like the passion of the team and the willingness to really inspire these students that drop out the school. I think it's you can really see the drive of the team behind it. So that's definitely a good indicator. Definitely the technology still to be developed, but it seems that they have a clear idea of what they want to do.
Yeah, I thought what they are trying to do. I think the safety in Papua New Guinea is really a huge issue, and those who causing those security issues are a younger generation who hasn't had a great exposure to good education and into the formal or informal but stable career opportunities. So I think if they can really fine tune who their targets are, and also in terms of content, really small tests in a small scale, what would be most impactful? Is that a self-esteem issue, or is that the job-ready skills, or is that something else that makes really address those core issues? Then I think the idea could fly.
Thank you so much, Nozomi. Matt, any thoughts on Odesh?
Really, when I first heard about Odesh, I thought, really, good luck doing that in the PNG market. But I think they've proved that totally wrong. Certainly my initial view, they've really figured out how to do ride sharing in what is, a tough, unsafe, unsecure place. And the fact that they get really corporate customers is great, but the fact that they get female customers who will use their services, I think just speaks for itself.
Exactly. I really, really appreciated actually the focus that he had on security, on how to address security and the female customer issue. So really, really interesting. And then we move to the last two startups. So we have Travel for Green.
I think the positive is he or the organization is really forward-looking. You know, like a carbon trading is coming. It is bubbling. It's not in full force yet, but it's a very forward-looking business idea. I think it's still very very early stage of ideation. So I'm not yet convinced the future for the business. But yeah.
I really like the fact that he has engaged with the landholder groups, which is a key thing in the government, because they are at that ground level the key stakeholders, I think, and difficult to engage bilaterally really well, particularly as a small business. So yeah, I think, good luck to him. I agree, a lot of challenges ahead, but certainly the right. Yeah,
absolutely. So moving to the last presenting startup today, we have Afore Computer Training and Patricia. I think that it's definitely like a huge pain in the country, in the region generally. So I really appreciate like what she's trying to do, and I believe that it's with the right approach, for sort of like a B2B, I think that it's definitely something that could be scalable and would have a huge impact. So I believe that it's just a matter of assessing like how to move forward in the right direction.
Yes, she's obviously passionate. Like I was looking at her picture of, like a coconut shack, and I was scratching my head, okay, IT training. But she's had quite a bit of customers coming in over the last couple of years. It's dropped in the recent years, but I think she's proven that her training is needed. I agree with you, John, around the business model going forward. I think like if she can say, for example, partner with like businesses already identified like job needs before she's training people, I think it works so much better than just identifying customers through word of mouth and then just train them in general. Like you can, if you have a B2B business, then you can customize a lot more for the needs that is immediately required. I think then the business is going to be very useful for both customers and the businesses.
Now, while the jury keeps discussing and gets to a final decision, we want to provide an overview about the entrepreneurship and innovation landscape in Papua New Guinea. We are going to hear the perspective of local experts that will share their knowledge in a panel discussion that will be moderated by Kong Sit, Market Engagement Manager at the GSMA Ecosystem Accelerator.
Thank you very much for making time, all the panelists. My name is Kong. I am part of GSMA team who is working across Pacific region to support Seedstars and to get Seedstars to support the entrepreneurs in Pacific, especially in Papua New Guinea, along with Fiji and Samoa. And for this leg of Seedstars World Summit, which is for Port Moresby, I would like to welcome the panelists who are present today, Colin, Fanny, and Emma. Why don't you introduce yourself so that everyone understand where you are coming from and how we can start the conversation.
Hi, my name is Emma Wakpi. I live and work in the highlands of Papua New Guinea in the Juaka province. I'm working in coffee and coffee processing. We're processing green beans marketed towards specialty markets. So working with log holders and local farmers. Coffee in PNG, majority farmers are smallholder farmers, local farmers, not many plantations. So about 80% smallholder farmers. So I'm working in that space, and whilst doing that, working in community development as well.
Thank you, Emma. Vani?
Hi everyone, my name is Vani and I am an entrepreneur. I run my own business which is called Untitled Holdings Limited. We're a local internet service provider in Papua New Guinea. In addition to that, we've opened up a co-working hub for SMEs and we help, grow the SME sector in Port Moresby especially, but we have interests around the country as well. And in addition to that, I love my community work, which we have a Voices of Villages Foundation, which we work in the rural areas. So that's what we do.
Thank you. Colin?
My name's Colin Stone. I'm the CEO for Digicel Papua New Guinea. As the biggest Pacific-wide operator and also the largest operator within Papua New Guinea, it's important for us to support up-and-coming businesses and even ones like M Street that compete with us. It's great for the industry to see that growth in the market. So, we're really proud of entrepreneurs like Vani, for example, that are driving the technology agenda in Papua New Guinea, because we can't do it all by ourselves as Digicel. So great to be on the panel and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for giving time. To give you a little bit of background on where we have been supporting in as GSMA. For this year, I think you might remember as having us in Port Moresby last year as Seedstars 2019 Port Moresby, where Digicel also contributed as a Digicel Foundation. And we had, I think about 8 entrepreneurs or startups who were pitching. And for this year, we thought we would do a little more by engaging more entrepreneurs in early stage. So we have put in a training program, which Vani also helped out as a local champion and a mentor. And last year's winner, NewNet PNG, also helped us as a mentor. So we are coming back. But on the other hand, you are the ones who are actually living through the history of PNG, right? And I wanted to ask you, since last year, 2019, what has changed in terms of entrepreneurship or technology or general?
Yes, I think since 2019, if you talk about 2019 till now, the landscape of entrepreneurship in Papua New Guinea has really increased. I've seen a lot of young potential going into that space now. They have so much ideas and very innovative. Not only that, but also in the rural areas like Emma. Emma is somebody that we have been working with, and I'm glad to actually work with them and draw inspiration from them, what solutions we can provide. And of course, I think with calling the Digicel network in PNG, that we also leverage out of that. So I think collaborations have been really, really great so far in helping the growth of the entrepreneurship, and not only also in the formal sector, but also informal sector as well. That's where we need to look into, because I believe that they also contribute to the economic stimulus of our country. So that's from what I have seen since in 2019, and I've started my business 7 years ago, getting out of the formal employment and taking that risk to start my own business. There's no platform. In addition to the formal sector, there's also a growing informal sector that we need to tap into as well, because they also do business, but they got to be trained, they got to be mentored and bring them into the formal sector so that we can build that economy. And we believe in collaboration, and we've been doing things with Digicel as well to help us in various activities that we can connect. So I think working in collaboration and partnership is also very important in that space. And entrepreneurship in PNG is growing because the young people are coming up, and they're coming up with so many innovations and so many ideas. And you've witnessed it during the Startup Challenge. They just want to solve problems.
Yeah, for us, obviously, and for the whole world, the world's changed way more than anyone thought it would with COVID-19 and the struggles and I suppose challenges is the best way to put it, that is brought to the business communities, but also just the communities across Papua New Guinea. The ability to travel is obviously made people be more innovative, and out of every challenge comes the opportunity to innovate. And I think we are seeing that innovation from local Papua New Guineans. And what we are seeing also is, if I look at, for example, our staff, we're seeing more Papua New Guineans come through with a passion for technology. And that passion translates into ideas, opportunities, businesses, those types of things. And so, with things like Coral Sea's cable landing within Papua New Guinea, it's brought an invigorated, I suppose, understanding and drive for people to get into the technology sectors. But those technology sectors, and I think Emma can probably talk to this better than I can, need to be about problem solving. Anyone can create an app that is a game for people to to chase birds around a screen or something. But solving real world problems, like some of the Seedstars entrants last year around agriculture, for example, what we call farm to table, those types of things are really important. And it's about finding real world problems and real world solutions to those problems based on the challenges that are unique to Papua New Guinea. And I think that's what we're starting to see more and more of across the country, which is fantastic. As Vani mentioned, a growth in the non-formal sector in Papua New Guinea is one of the best things that Papua New Guinea can experience. And as Digicel, we're about connecting the unconnected, and with 80+% population coverage coming to 85 and expanding every year, giving those people the ability to connect and access technology platforms is one of the most important things that we can do as a business.
Emma, you might want to jump in with your angle.
I'm just going to come from a rural remote experience and just talk about what we've been doing. Before getting into the coffee sector in 2018, the last 13 years I've been working in health and rural health. As you know, 80%, 85% of our population is rural based. And I was working with the Christian Health Services of Papua New Guinea. It's an organization of about 27 agencies that provide rural and remote health care, to 85% of our population. And M&E, getting data, statistics in real time, collating all of this and trying to get good information that we can then use to target health needs and look at the disease opportunities, things like that in the rural area is a real struggle. We're looking, people go out with papers, fill up forms and try to send that to the health information office, trying to get it in. Very, very hard. We've worked with trying to set up a office where we can do through smartphones, just going out into the communities, getting our nurses to record and go offline and then go back to the health centers and then try to get online and send the information back to the headquarters to collate the statistics and the data. So that's an area where it's really hard to just get the information needed for the government then to look at the information and write up proper policies. They're good plans and policies, but implementation, they need to get the information on the ground to be able to do that. And that's an area where that's lacking. And that's the scope. Even within 2019, they're still working on it. They're trying to get that, build an app that can do that, go out there and target all those people. That's one area. The other area, now that I'm in coffee and I'm wanting to work with the rural remote people, illiteracy is a huge factor, and just not knowing the technology needed to be able to do things, and being hesitant to even explore that. People want to deal in cash. For me, having lots of cash on hand is not conducive to what I want to do. I want to get them on mobile banking, things like that. And the literacy rate does not allow for me to do that. Yeah, there's simple apps that can help me to do that and help the farmers understand things like that. So we can just do transfers over the phone. We're exploring that area as we're working. And at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of need for young people within the rural remote areas. There's a lot of disadvantage coming from rural remote areas. They do their high schools and they get into tertiary institutions. They have no computer skills at all, basic computer skills to be on par with the students from towns and cities to be able to do that. So we're looking at how we can set up a hub where we can create that space for people to come in and learn basic computer skills, learn how to do research, because I think analytical thinking and helping our younger generations, the rural remote, which is the majority of the PNG population, to think analytically, think beyond the now, to think long term. That's a huge, huge challenge. And we need to be starting young, and we need to be creating hubs. You know, Moresby is just 20%, 10% of the whole PNG population. Most are rural remote based. How can we branch out from Port Moresby into the other centers where we can really impact the people on the ground? And then when these people, these young people in the rural remote areas are coming up on par with the people in the city, then you have a wider group of people that are more knowledgeable about technology, knowledgeable and comfortable to use technology in that sense as well. So yeah, that's just from what I'm seeing, where I'm at.
Great. Yeah, I think that's a very, very local problem that needs to be understood and solved by someone from PNG. And I believe in this cohort, in this Seedstars competition, there is a startup who is actually working on informal education using mobile internet and educating informal students, right? They may never have a formal education, but making sure that they have been reached out or have access to education. That would be a very interesting startup to actually look at. And again, I think we come to the point where we are saying that these problems, which are very PNG centric and only be understood by locals, and the whole goal of this is to help them build their own solutions, so that the solutions built by PNG are for the PNG Papua New Guineans, right? I mean, in terms of what you're seeing right now, COVID situation, did you see any difference in how businesses are responding to this crisis so far? And if you found some interesting solution that you're seeing, I'll be interested to hear that.
So, I mean, obviously we had to change our business model. We operate right across the country, and distribution became something that was very difficult. You couldn't move between regions. So we found ourselves actually, collaborating, and I think Vani put that, very clearly earlier, collaborating with other partners across the country. We needed to go somewhere, Balolo, for example, they needed to go to the same place. How do we leverage each other's skill sets and distribution reach and things like that? So I think some of the biggest issues that we saw were, I would say, roadblocks across the country, which were for a good purpose. COVID was obviously is a scary thing, and it's something that has impacted the whole world and how we operate. What we generally see in this, and we get a lot of, let's say, entrepreneurial technology type ideas brought to us. And one of the things, and I think it's really important that entrepreneurs come and talk to the carriage makers, so the telecommunications companies, before they start creating applications and things like that, to understand what can work on the network. And I'll give you an example of that. We had someone that wanted to do an agriculture service, and they came to us and they said, we want to upload 1 gigabit per day per handset from rural remote Papua New Guinea. And we're sort of saying, well, what information are you trying to get? Oh, well, we want to get this. Well, don't take a photo of the PDF, because that becomes, large. Just put it in bits and bytes, because then we can help you transfer it across the network.
Yeah. I think, COVID took us by shock as well, like Colin said, when the COVID came in, there were so many restrictions that we were unable to move around and do business at ease. And most of our things too are also outside of Port Moresby, because we focus more on rural areas as well, where we bring connectivity out there. But at the same time, we saw opportunities. We saw where we can be able to innovate, and we saw how we can work together with people to achieve what we're trying to drive through COVID challenges. So we, as a small business, we actually change things around to meet and suit, how we can progress through the challenges. And it was a challenge too, because it really affected the income and slow payment of, clients paying us. So, we were slowing also paying bills as well, because we need to generate money to pay our bills as a small business as well. So a lot of things really affect us in a big way, but we have to sit down. But the good thing is that we never sent any of our employees home, because if they go home, what would they, earn from to also support their families. So we thought about that big time, and we just bite the bullet and said, okay, this is how we're going to do things. So in terms of COVID challenges, also using digital innovation tool was also also was an opportunity as well for us to leverage on. So having to go to our provinces, we had to also find partners on the ground, other local partners on the ground who can be able to do our installations, who can be able to run around for us. So those are the sort of things that we were looking at. And was I must say that COVID has brought us some great opportunities and great innovation for us to collaborate with others so that we can get the work going, because at this point in time is that we got to leverage on technology. Technology has become the forefront of everything else through this COVID, so which is a really great thing for us. And also trying to do things with digital, on the rural side of things too, was also another great opportunity. And not only digital, but also other ISP providers as well. So I see that if all the local ISPs and together with the big players come together, I'm sure we can be able to solve local content, because everybody's talking about digital innovation, but the rural front is still out of connectivity. So we're going to reach that. We need to bring everybody together to the table. And at this time, everybody needs to make business. So how can we work together? If digital cannot go there, there's somebody there. If we cannot go there, there's somebody there. So someone on the ground in every corner of Papua New Guinea is going to make business. And we're going to create a lot of entrepreneurship locally on the rural front. And traveling out to the villages, we are growing. We are rich in natural resources, but we are far from development. How do we reach that? Technology has to be the forefront. We need to work together with the local communities, because they're also solving problems like Emma. Emma is doing coffee, and she is, also doing education and trying to create entrepreneurship in her locality of, Jiwaka province. So how do we support her? How do we make it to, do all these things that we're trying to deliver? Bank is saying, they want to deliver digital, all these digital programs that they want to create, but not everybody has a bank account. You want to do phone banking, but not everybody has a bank account. How can we solve these problems? The banks have to come on board. All the ISPs come on board, the big players come on board, and let's all go and solve our own problems. Because I believe in local content and I believe in local solutions, because we ourselves know the problems, and we are able to work together with everybody, bringing all those solutions on the table and move together, and then we all share the pie at this time. So while business is really a challenge, we can be able to work together in these sort of things so that we can be able to grow and stimulate economy as well. And government has to play a role in boosting, bringing in stimulus pack to empower and resource everybody else to grow business. Otherwise, we're just going to find it hard in the next coming years if we don't solve the problems now.
Colin, I'm curious about how the Coral Sea cable is affecting connectivity in the country.
So, the Coral Seas cable came in with much fanfare into Port Moresby, and it was great because prior to that, there was only really a cable that had capacity coming into Madang. Now that cable into Madang's been there approximately 10 years. What the Coral Sea cable has brought is, I suppose, redundancy. We're calling it in insurance purposes. It's sped up latency. But the reality is and if I can be frank on this, the Coral Seas, the wholesale price on Coral Seas cable is still something like 35 times the bandwidth price compared to being inside Australia. So it's still expensive. It is obviously improves reliability, latency, but it's not the panacea. And the reason I say it's not the panacea, and for people that work in rural Papua New Guinea, they'll know this better than me, but it comes to Port Moresby. And Port Moresby might be 10% of the population. The reality is it's then how is that distributed to the population that needs it, which is the rest of the country. And I think that's always been the challenge in Papua New Guinea. PPC1 came into Madang. It's been there, it's terabit capacity cable. But the question is how do you then get it to where it's needed? And to be honest, Papua New Guinea is like any other city in the world. It's connected. It's got 4G. We can deliver 150 megabits per second over a 4G network in Port Moresby. That's fantastic for Port Moresby residents that want to watch Netflix and things like that. But the reality is when you get out to Kiunga, how do you get access from Kiunga to Port Moresby? And quite often, it can be things like VSAT and things like that, which actually negates, I suppose, the benefits of the Coral Seas cable. For us, it's fantastic, and I think for the country, it's fantastic. But our challenge, and we're building 45 more rural cell towers this year, so increasing our rural footprint by another 7%. The reality is that our biggest struggle is not getting the traffic from Port Moresby to the internet. Our biggest struggle is getting it from Port Moresby to the rest of the country so that we can connect the unconnected people within Papua New Guinea. Those people that will really benefit, and I'm not talking about Facebook users and social media, I'm talking about a farmer looking at YouTube to then understand how that he maximizes his crop yield on, it could be anything from broccoli to coffee, for example, and Emma's example. And I think that's something that's been misunderstood with Coral Seas. Everyone just thought it was the panacea for Papua New Guinea, but there's still a lot of work to do. Dataco built a great cable that goes around to the beaches, but getting to we have a saying here in Digicel, getting to the beach is easy. It's what do you do once you get to the beach? Because everyone doesn't live on the beach in Papua New Guinea. I mean, the bulk of the population is up through that Highlands corridor and in places where, for example, Emma works. And our main goal in terms of our network build is building reliability into those parts of the country. And I can tell you, after working in many countries around the world, that's not easy, but it's a challenge that we've taken on, and other entrepreneurs like Vani, for example, have taken on with both hands. Is it going to solve the world's problems today? No. But over time, if we can slowly increase things. But I gave an example, telecommunication in Africa came after things like roading infrastructure, schooling infrastructure, those type of things. So what it did is it accelerated what was already there through a connectivity platform. One of the things that telecommunications has to do is be that accelerator within Papua New Guinea, because we can't just build a road from Port Moresby to Lae and then Lae to Hagen, upgrade that road within. That's not going to happen within a year. We all know that. The government have some great plans to do that. But those sort of things help drive the economy as well. Telecommunications is one of the building blocks. So Coral Seas, while the prices or the wholesale prices have still come down, it is expensive still on a global scale, and it solves Port Moresby's problem. It does help with problems in the rest of the country, but it doesn't solve the problem of telecommunications out to rural Papua New Guinea.
So Emma, I think while we are having you online, how are you connecting? And compared to last year, a year ago, how much has improved? And I want to hear your thoughts.
Because of COVID-19, I'm dependent on WhatsApp. That's the cheapest form of communication that I can get on internet, to do video calls and meet with my partners in Hong Kong, Canada, US, Australia. So I'm using WhatsApp. You buy units, buy credit to be able to do that. I found it a bit expensive, so I used Mstrat Holdings VSAT in collaboration with them, and just their internet connection's okay. I'm getting on okay through that, and I'm talking almost daily with my partners. And the plan was for this year to have 3 people come in to build capacity for our people to do specialty coffee. We were not able to do that, so we've been using WhatsApp video calls to do how to show people how to dry coffee, talk about texture, things like that. We've just done it all on video, and that's helped them. So connectivity is improving, and like if I could say in the last 10 years what's improved, Digicel coming into the country, connecting the country, that's been the biggest. If you talk about development and how the rural people have gained, that's through that real-term infrastructure development. It's just connecting people being able to talk on the phone. But now when we're getting into internet and the platform is people moving more into online work and everything else, that's where more work needs to be done, because the rural people don't have the capacity to even get on there. And you're having a lot of urban drift. We're wanting to stop that. We're looking at how can we educate our people, build literacy around that area. Not only literacy in itself, but literacy around the technology area, so that people can stay in the village and sell their products elsewhere. And working with farmers, getting them to understand, like for example in coffee, the farmers don't have a grasp of where their product goes to. They just pick, and they know that they get a price for it, and they're not informed. And technology, if everyone's starting to buy smartphones now, but they're buying it to go on Facebook and YouTube. That's about it. And trying to get them to understand about banking, researching information, doing those things is still a struggle.
I guess Emma brought up a really good point about, initially the plan was to bring in 3 people to train on specialty coffee, and now she could train them online. And that rings a bell to us as well, because last year we brought in mentors and trainers for a week ahead of Seedstars event, and we managed to train. But now that we're doing it online, I mean, using the savings from travel, and we could deliver a 2 months or 3 months of program with more than 10 mentors. And by replacing that, we are able to expand or extend the engagement period, and widen the scope of training, and widen the scope of the type and people who are being able to contribute. Right? I may not be able to do this panel discussion in physical space, because we might have to find a good time and traveling, etc. But having able to do that online is another blessing, I think. And it is an opportunity for me. And I think I would like to ask, your thoughts on what's going to happen after COVID, right? A lot of people have a lot of ideas about what new normal might be. And I want to hear your thoughts on what new normal might be in Papua New Guinea.
My biggest thing now is just with the local farmers that I have, just to have them start using smartphones and start training on mobile banking. Cash, for me, it's quite dangerous to go into town. On a given day, if I'm purchasing coffee, I might need 40,000-50,000 kina to pay cash, because the people don't have bank, and because they're literate, they don't want to do any kind of things that involves not having cash on hand. And so trying to work with them and train and facilitate that transition into using, for now they're using the earlier model phones, where it's not smartphone. So how do you help them they can afford it, but because they're not literate, then they're not wanting to use it. So how do we then create a space where they can be comfortable to talk about it, and also ease them into that space where they can start transitioning into smartphone use, then using mobile banking, getting them literate, things like that. My passion is community development. I've been in community development for the last 13 years and got into coffee because I saw that, when we ask people to do, the next thing is what's next, and it's always micro enterprise and entrepreneurship. But then how do you go from there, and how do you work with the illiterate population and try to move from there? So just a lot of challenges, but I think the main thing is getting farmers using smartphones. It will be a major step for me, and then getting there from that step to mobile banking will be what I'll be working on very vigorously in the next 3 years.
Thanks, Emma. A shameless plug from GSMA. We do have a bit of those resources which you can either adapt or feel free to make use of it. We do have a set of tools for internet adoption and how you can leverage on that. And your thoughts on the post-COVID world, Bani or Colin?
I think from our perspective, I think COVID has brought us a lot of opportunities, And one of those opportunities was our partners, coming big time to support us in our operations in PNG. And we've also innovated on self-installations of, VSETs where you can get the manual and give it to somebody else who don't know how to install the VSET dish. By reading the instructions, you can be able to install, and that's what's happening, currently. And also it has increased our client, base as well, from different, across the country as well. Comparing to what we were before last year to now, we've seen an increase in especially our ISP business as well. So which has really given us, and I think if we talk about the new normal, is that technology is a way forward now. So we've leveraged on technology. All our office documents and everything that we do are now on Google Docs. And I learned a lot from Seed Startup as well, through the mentorship and through how you guys were doing these things through the Startup Challenge. So I've incorporated some of those things into our SME hub. And we also support the other SMEs as well. And through the business, through the COVID challenges, we had our partners like the Business Link Pacific came on board, subsidized most of our services that we were providing to our SME members so that they can be able to continue business. And we were providing in the hub the connectivity, the business office, the hot desk, and support here and there, leveraging out of the network, giving businesses and things like that. So it really helped us just amongst ourselves, creating the business buzz amongst ourselves to help us go through the COVID challenges, because we see that most of the SMEs and entrepreneurs find it very challenging because access to capital was a challenge. How do they progress with their business? And going to bank is also very hard, because if you're going to get help with capital, the interest rates are really high. And our government is talking about SME stimulus pack and all that sort of thing. They talk about it, but we don't see it. And we don't depend on them, because entrepreneurs would like to find solutions, and having to have support from all corners, like our global partners, they come on board, they support us, they give us a little bit of grant where we can be able to help good SMEs doing great things. So I think if I have to say from my own perspective, that COVID has brought us, an opportunity to create and to leverage on it so that we can be able to continue to grow. At the same time, see how we can be able to help others and impact, especially rural connectivity, and working with partners on the ground everywhere and creating that entrepreneurship across, the country. I mean, we're small. I mean, Digicel is big. They've really done a marvelous thing by connecting the whole PNG. So that sort of platform and pathway we can able to leverage to connect others, who needs those services as well. And you were talking about the Coral Sea cable. It is a fantastic thing, but they need to get it right, So it cannot reach the rural people in there. How do you get it in there? Because those are the people that we need to really connect, which is a rural population, because they've built their empire. They're sitting on a pot of gold with, farming products, all the other rest of the things. I just came back from a village and I was totally blown away. It's a plantation filled with so much organic food. They're growing bros, they're growing bananas, they're growing taros, all those things. And these village people have built it, but they don't have any access or platform to trade. They don't have technology out there for the banks to come in and help them, which they can be able to trade and sustain themselves. And that's the solution that we need to provide for our rural front. Because if we focus on agriculture, this is like the COVID time now. If we focus on agriculture right now, we're going to be creating economic stimulus and build that economic, and we will be able to solve all the other problems like the FX issues and, all these things that we need to solve, So if we don't fix it now, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we've got to make it happen somehow.
The world post-COVID for me and for Digicel and my team here and my staff is exciting. It's opportunities, that come out of challenges. And I think we have a saying here, accelerating out of the skid. This year's been a little bit of like going sideways in the car, not knowing what's going to happen next. But the reality is for all businesses in Papua New Guinea, including the government, we all need to work together to accelerate Papua New Guinea out of this, out of what has been a pause, I suppose, from COVID, And really, the opportunities within this country are amazing. And it's one of the reasons I love working here, because every day, you see entrepreneurs in this country, and it may just be that they've got themselves some little mats and a little table, and they're what do you call it, mining for gold on the side of a river. They're entrepreneurs as well. But how do we connect them with the best buyer versus the person that just walks down and offers them 20 kina per gram of gold? How do we connect them to let them know that the market in Ley, as an example, is buying at 100 kina? Those solutions, I think, where Papua New Guinea entrepreneurs can come to the forefront to use technology to solve local problems.
Thank you very much. That really round up every part that we were discussing. And I think, yes, as you mentioned, as we all agree, the solutions for Papua New Guineans will come from Papua New Guineans. And I'm looking forward to that. And thank you, everyone, for giving time to speak to me and speak to the rest of the audience online. And yeah, I hope we can meet again in real life. And I wish everyone good luck, all the entrepreneurs a good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kwang, and thank you also to Vani and Emma for joining us on the call. It was a great discussion, and really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Colin, too. Thank you very much, and thanks, Emma. Thanks, Colin.
Thanks to Kong and the panel members for that interesting discussion and insights. Now, the time that you were all waiting for has finally arrived. The jury has selected the winner for Seedstars Port Moresby 2020.
So welcome everyone. This year, we have received more than 60 applications for the Seedstars Port Moresby pitching competition, the local chapter of the largest competition for startups in emerging markets. We had 8 great entrepreneurs pitching online, and after a very long and difficult deliberation with the jury, we have a winner. The winner of today's event will participate in the regional phase of the competition, competing with fellow entrepreneurs from Asia Pacific, and among other prizes, will be awarded 2 free months of the Investment Readiness Program, a program developed by Seedstars that aims at supporting startups in their journey to raise funds. Nancy, your project is very inspiring. We love the focus on pollution and recycling, as well as your vision of involving mothers and youth in the workforce. However, we had some doubts on the business model and your plans for growth. Kelly, you're addressing a huge problem. We like the focus on supporting the environment while trying to digitalize the sector. Also, your first-hand experience is definitely an added value. On the other side, obviously the project is still pretty early, and it will be interesting to see how this vision will be executed in the future. Shalom, you stood out for your passion. You have a clear understanding on who your customers are, and the focus on organic is really important. We had some concerns about the scalability of your service and the long-term impact of COVID-19. Christopher, you stood out for a great use case of blockchain, and over time, you have managed to build a very good traction. However, by looking at the pitch and your website, we weren't certain about your activity focus. Vanwa, we could see the great passion in your team. You have a clear drive that moves you, and for us, that was really, really inspiring. The project is still in its idea stage, and we had some doubts on the competitive differentiators of your solution. Isaac, we found that it was really clever how you have adapted your business to the market specifics of PNG, and also how you've well addressed the safety issue related to it. Our doubts were related to the product development challenges, especially when looking at market expansion. Peter, carbon trading is a very forward-looking activity, and we were definitely impressed by your engagement with the local groups and the government. However, the idea is still in its early stage, and we had some doubts on how the action plan will be successfully executed in the future. Patricia, you're definitely tackling a huge pain in the market, as computer skills are absolutely essential, especially to the youth. We were not fully convinced, though, by the scalability of your current business model and how you intend to grow your customer base over the upcoming month. So, before I announce the winner, I would like to thank all the people and partners that have made this possible, especially during these challenging times. Thanks to Matt and Nozomi for helping us judge the 8 founders competing, and a special thanks goes to the Australian government and the GSMA for supporting Seedstars and for allowing us to digitally bring the competition to the Pacific Islands. Also, I'd like to thank Tech in Pacific, SEB, and the Pacific Ads Group for their support in helping us connect with the local ecosystem. So now it's finally the time. The 2020 Seedstars Port Moresby winner is Isaac from Odesh. Congratulations, Isaac.
Yes, thank you very much.
Do you want to say a few words, maybe?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to pitch. To all the 7 startups that participated, you are all winners at your respective areas where your startup is relevant to. Keep on hustling. I'd like to thank all the judges, and I look forward to the final announcements in the coming weeks, and also participate in the regional and world challenge. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Isaac. Really congratulations. Please, if there's anyone else that wants to share like anything, please feel free to do so. We're more than happy to hear your thoughts and you know, anything at all about the competition, about your participation. And again, of course, you know, we really, of course, we want to congratulate all the other participants for the amazing job that you're doing and for really fostering the growth of the Papua New Guinea's entrepreneurship landscape. So it was really inspiring for me, and I guess for everyone else watching this, to hear about your projects and innovative ideas. And we wish you all the best in your entrepreneurial journey. So thank you all. And please, if you want to share any words, feel free to do so.
Big congratulations to Isaac and his team from Odesh. Good stuff, bro. Well done. Wishing you all the best from the guys at ATO and everyone else that has participated. We just want to wish you all the best and carry this drive forward, and we wish you all the best with your product.
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank Seedstars for the opportunity, GSMA, USAID, and the government as well. Thank you for the participants for at least giving us an idea about where we haven't seen like some of the aspects that are lacking. And we'd like to congratulate Odesh as well. Keep on rocking. We all are winners in our own ways, so yeah, cheer on. Thanks.
All right, so thanks again to all of you guys. Thank you guys. Enjoy.
So, after a tense competition, it's Odesh who will be advancing to the regional stage of the competition and face other winning startups from Asia Pacific. Congratulations to them, and thanks once again to all of the startups that took part. Thank you to all those who attended today's online event. We hope you enjoyed it, and we appreciate you coming and supporting these amazing startups. If you want to find out more information about the Seedstars World Competition, please visit our website or reach out to us on our social media channels. Thank you once again. We hope to see you next year, and goodbye.